Okay, welcome Dwarf Fortress lovers. My name is Das Tactic. This is going to be part 2 of our intermediate tutorial on playing Dwarf Fortress. We'll just get into it and then I'll just go through. I should have actually started it before we got into it. Continue active game. This is the one that I'm playing here. By the way, I am... the other game is one that I'm playing on Twitch. So if you do want to join me on Fridays, I've got Fortress Fridays that I'm going to be doing on a regular thing over on my Twitch channel, which is the link is down below. And so we've got a bit of fun happening with that particular fortress at this particular time. But I do anticipate that being a regular time slot that I try to fill. Okay, so I may have to change the days at times, but anyway, that's going to be the general plan. So we're just going to go into our active save and load it all in. So again, similar to when you start off, it just loads in all the different graphics that it needs and all the different bits and pieces, then loads up the actual file that it's got. It's quite cool. The game is actually updated in between me doing the previous one and then this particular run right now. So what we end up having is, this is the outside of the fortress. Just to be very, just as a really, really quick summary, if you didn't actually watch part 2 and you're watching this more as just to watch a video about Dwarf Fortress. We started off in what's called a reanimating biome. If we have a quick look at the actual overworld and then center on our fort, we are actually here on this river system through this other side. What we see down through here, this is actually the Strange Prairie, which runs all the way down through here. The Strange Prairie goes all the way out to the sea, essentially. And this is an evil biome. It's not terrifying, which means we don't get giant creatures. We only get sort of like normal creatures, except it's a reanimating biome. And this biome means that when something dies here, it comes back to life. So we tested that. We know that that's the case. So that's actually where we are. Also of interest, we have very, very nearby this particular dark fortress or dark tower. There's a human tower of Verus Oranges. So Verus Oranges is the name of this particular tower. There's a population of around about 20. Now 20 is the necromancers that live here, but also the like any sort of sentient type undead that might actually be from this particular location. And so this is a bit of a threat. They will also have like an army of just zombies. So we can expect zombie invasions at some point. Down across the river system, we end up having a whole lot of different goblins as well. We've got the Dark Goblin Pits of Barbed Torments in through this other side. Another one over here, which is the Dark Goblin Pits of Borovice. Then we've got the Dark Goblin Fortress of Singsteels. And then there's actually another one here which is fairly interesting. This is the Dark Human Pits of Malign Hated. Now this one here, the fact that it's saying humans means that at some point in its history it was taken over by humans. So it's not actually going to be evil as such. And there's no red that we can see through here. So we're not at war with anyone at the moment. But that can change pretty quickly in the game. If I have a bit of a look around, I'll just see if there is any red. This is all goblins in through here. I'm just looking more at the goblins. You can see there that there's like blue. This is actually the one Dwarven civilization left on the actual world is this particular one. And this is actually the Livid Works is a civilization, and we're a member of the Livid Works. So that's actually where we're from. We do actually, looks like we're friendly with these humans. And actually these humans, this is the Dark Human Pits. This is another one where they've ended up taking over all of these Dark Goblin Pits. This same group of humans, I'm guessing. So this is the Glorious Nations Alliance is the name of the humans. This one's the Confederacy of Cream Alliance. So we've got a whole group of different sorts of humans that we're actually aligned with. So again, this is the Glorious Nations back and through here with their human fort back. So they've actually been taking over Goblin Pits. And again, you'd have to look at the legends to see what's going on. Why is that all happening? It's such an incredible game. This is Glory. Yeah, so Glorious Nations came from down in here. This is actually where they're from. There's 2 human groups that we're actually allied with. The elves we're not allied with at all. Yeah, it's very, very cool, this game. Anyway, that's a bit of a summary as to our location, where we are, what's around us, what we can expect. We also ramped up the difficulty, and that's also then made it so we can expect a lot of interaction fairly early on. This is the only entrance we have into our fortress at this point in time, which is a simple floor hatch, but we can lock it. So I can click on it at any point in time and just click on lock. and that will then allow me to lock it. So that's one entrance in. And so what I try to do initially is get everything underground or inside an area that I can actually lock, whether it be a hatch or a door. And so we do actually have some wood that's still left outside, but this is actually where the wagon was, and we've now sort of got everything off the wagon, and most of the things are now inside. We still have a few dwarves on the outside, but we've sort of changed a few different things. So as we come back down, the layer down, it goes down through an upward slope and then a downward slope. So we've got we're just sloping down. Eventually this will be where the caravans arrive, and we don't need to worry about caravans for a couple of years. So we have a bit of time to think about where we set up the ramps for the wagons from the trade caravans, but they will be coming at some point. And so the trade caravans require a 3 wide corridor. And so eventually I've come through and put another door in here. So this is another area we can lock. If we, for whatever reason, something gets past the hatch and I don't realize until there is on this little stretch through here, I can lock this door and try to sort of stop them that way. Now, there are things called door smashers or furniture breakers or furniture smashers. They can break open doors. Now, if we get attacked by those sorts of creatures, we're in a lot of trouble, basically. But we're going to talk about that when we first get down here. So what I'd like to do is build the corridor where the caravan will come initially. So this is the 3 wide, and I've made this into a stockpile where I've just brought everything that was in the wagon inside here, except for the wood, and we're not putting stone in here either. So I've sort of made this stockpile into a bit of a catch-all, but not for those 2 things. Now we have to be, because it's a reanimating biome, we have to be extremely careful what we do with dead and discarded things. With that necromancer tower, if we leave bones outside, they will reanimate those bones and get them to fight against us. So we have a difficult prospect with this particular fortress in so many different ways. This is why it's an intermediate tutorial, and it really, I think there's still, I'm going to be going through everything, so it's going to essentially also be working well, I think, for beginning players, but the actual setup that we've got is going to be difficult, very, very difficult, no matter what happens. Another door in through here, you can sort of see that we've got another door, so if for whatever reason we lose the first 2 areas, we've then got another door that I could hopefully lock while they're coming through this area before they start to attack the fortress itself. The animals we had to bring inside as quickly as possible. Now, without grass, the horses are going to starve. The turkeys don't mind about where they live. In fact, you'll find that when you've got turkeys or anything like that, there'll be grubs and bugs, and they eat those. So they sort of have, they attract that automatically. And so we've got those in through there, and then the 2 horses that actually pulled the wagon. We've got to be extremely careful. If they die, they will come back as zombies, and the zombie creatures will essentially be 3 times stronger than their non-zombie counterpart, and that is incredibly difficult when you've got sort of like big animals like horses. Not really a problem for turkeys, but it is a problem when you do actually have horses. So that one dead horse could completely destroy our fortress, just to give that some sort of context. So we have to be extremely mindful of that when we start these things, to make sure that we actually get these underground as fast as possible, but then we've got to be focused on them until we can get grass for them. And that we've only got like a handful of months before they'll start to starve. Luckily, we're running DF Hack, which I did speak about, and that then gives me any little information. It will end up in this bottom left-hand corner, which will then tell me what I need to address of the matter of priority. You can see that there's 9 hostiles. If we have a quick look at these, these are raven corpses. These are undead ravens that have flown in. So we've got nine like one there, another one there, a whole heap of them that have just flown in on the northern edge. And so these are all coming in. And that's pretty much all that the hostiles actually are, all the way through there. So that's actually where we are. So if we go back down again into the fortress, we'll get back into here. I'll just do a quick guided tour, and then we'll sort of get into the actual tutorial itself. So we then came down through. Now this layer here, if I go and click on the digging menu, we end up with these 2 droplets. And what that means is it's an aquifer. 2 droplets means it's a weak aquifer or a light aquifer. And there's also heavy aquifers which will have 3 dots on them, 3 droplets in each tile, if it's one of those. And you can see through here, for example, that we've got aquifer there, 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 and there, and there, but we're only getting 1 droplet here. When you see 1 drop, it means it's a non-aquifer, but it is damp. And so that's damp because this aquifer here is touching it, and that aquifer there is touching it. So we had to block this off with wooden log, like we just use wood. And so the wood that we chopped down from outside, we plugged the gap in through here for this aquifer. And so we broke through that aquifer very, very quickly. And again, as a really quick summary, aquifers drip from the north, south, east, and west, but also down. They go through the floor of whatever's above it. So if I go to the next layer down, which is not an aquifer layer, except you can see it's damping through here, because the wooden walls above are stopping anything from dampening this. But this is damp. If I start to dig out through this other side, we're going to find damp, not aquifer, but damp terrain. And that will then leak because of what's above it. So we'll end up with essentially with flooding if we dig through that one. Light aquifers are very, very easy to deal with. They're not really a big problem. One aspect of between light aquifers and heavy aquifers is that heavy aquifers will actually also absorb water. Like if they're in a level, once it fills up to level 7, it will then absorb the water back into itself. That's not the case with light aquifers. They'll just keep on leaking water all the time. So they just keep on leaking and fill right up, but it's very, very slow. And it's a slow rate that gives you the time that you need to break through. So we got through here okay. We're now into silty clay. Then we hit rock. We've got dolomite on this particular layer. And then as we come back down, another dolomite. And so I'm just making up-down stairways as we come back through. More dolomite. And then we end up with an interesting little area of sandstone. So we've actually now got sandstone in around this particular location. And the sandstone this is another aquifer. We had 2 aquifers that were found so far. And this one, instead of having to build the wood, we can just smooth the walls, and this then changes the nature of the aquifer in things like sandstone, any sort of stone. It changes it from being an aquifer to just being a damp stone, essentially, because we've got the aquifer still touching it. So sandstone we can handle a different way. I could have channeled this out and then built walls in there if I wanted to. Just continue on down. I didn't realise that I had so much. Like that's the second layer of this aquifer, third layer, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7th. So I'd actually dug all the way down to here before I even realised what was going on. And so when I got into this particular aspect, I then ended up, that's when I think I even got even further than this before I realised this was filling up with water at this stage as my guys were digging down. And so I did mention that there was like levels of water where the miners and the builders will do different things. The miners will work in up to 4 levels of water, 4 being the maximum that they will work in, and a constructor, like someone trying to construct a wall or do something like that, will only work in 2 levels of water. So they're the differences between the different levels. And by this stage, we actually had level 4. We're starting to see level 4s and even 5s. So as we came down into this layer through here, which is not an aquifer layer, but it's still got aquifer above it, what I did to try to relieve the pressure was to dig channels on the outside of this to drain away as much of the water as possible to allow the construction to continue. And similarly back in through here, you can sort of see that we've now got like upward slopes. And this was just to try to dissipate the water away from the construction. And then I just kept on building down until this bottom layer. You can still see that there's level 1 of water. So it all gushed out into here. And this is actually where we got to in the fortress at this point in time. So we now got past the aquifers, which we can't really do much in the aquifer. We can do things, but we have to really think about them very, very carefully because of that nature of east, west, south, and west leaking, plus the drop down from the top. It does mean you've got a lot of thinking to do when you actually are dealing with aquifers. They can be really quite beneficial, but particularly the light aquifers, I actually quite like using light aquifers. But we do have to be careful. But we're now in an area where the aquifers are above us, a few layers above us. So 3 layers above us. Definitely don't want to work on this layer. I kept this layer as a reserve layer, just so I can actually sort of bounce up to this one if I had to, and we're going to do that one right now. What I've done is I'm now going to be building an area through here, which I'm going to actually this is still going to be considered, in my opinion, the entrance to the fortress, and I'm thinking of even building something a little bit different here, because this could become a trap zone for us, for other creatures. So I'm thinking of actually putting in a like some sort of drawbridge in through here. That would be as a really like a major obstacle if the top layers become overcome by undead or by invaders. We can then sort of still prop up the like the different walls, and we'll have to build a lot of these as we come into the actual fortress. So we'll be doing that in this episode, is to start to build those sorts of defenses. When we got through here, I was just going to build another choke point in through here and then come back down to another one that then opens up, and then we were going to do another staircase leading down, and so I'm going to be doing that, and this will then become the actual entrance to our real fortress. So the actual fortress will be entering into here. It's quite convoluted what I've done through here, and we've got a lot that we have to do to try to catch up because of the amount of infrastructure we have to build because of our heightened security problems. But we have to focus on those initially in this fort. Now, in Dwarf Fortress, there's two clean ways to actually make it so that nothing can break through. One is to build the drawbridges, which is the way I like to do things. Nothing can break open a drawbridge, no matter what it is, like forgotten beasts, titans, dragons, anything at all. Nothing can actually get through those. But the second thing is you can actually have a hatch that where the invaders are coming from below. If like a hatch from the same level like we had at the top can be just broken open like a door, but nothing can break through a hatch above them, which is just one of the little variances. So if we change what we have happening over through here into something a little bit different, we could actually then work with that to create like a zone where it becomes more difficult for anything to sort of then come through and break into our fortress. So I'm going to stop this one through here, and I've got the 3 layers above, so I can actually go into this bottom corner and build a little area in through here to stop any invaders pretty securely, even initially. So let's just go across and do that. So we're just going to go into our dig menu, dig a stairwell there to the layer above, to that one through there, and then we'll build another stairwell from that one down to there. So we've got an upstairs to there, and then we'll have a little bit of a corridor across this way, and then that will ultimately be, we can put a hatch there and then lock it. So that will become lockable, and then that will essentially create like almost like an airlock into the next part of our fortress. So if the top fails, I'd like to keep this little choke point so I could put a door there, for example. Drawbridge here. This is going to be really where we have to have like the major lock-off point for the fortress. The thing I like about drawbridges is that they can be operated from anywhere in the fortress. We can be quite deep into the fortress and then raise them. Whereas once a door or a hatch has been passed by any sort of maligned creature, it then becomes, it's no longer in our possession, and so we can't then go and lock it. So if something managed to break its way all the way through to the hatch that's here and get past it, I can't then come back after that and lock it until one of my dwarves goes and goes through it. So that's why I do like drawbridges, but that's certainly another way that we can handle it. This water that we see through here is because of the dampness of the aquifers as they were dripping down. So this is still wet from the aquifer. So that's where we are at this point in time. Once we come back through here, another sort of essentially another kill zone in through here if we need it, and then into the actual fortress proper. I'm also going to be using these initially to bring in wood and have this as a wood stockpile. In fact, you can see I've started to build the wood stockpile in here, just so that they start to bring them in, which means I can go to the top of the fortress again and ditch this wood stockpile. I just don't need it as a stockpile. So if I go and hang on, I've still got mining selected. There we are. View the stockpile, and I'm just going to destroy the stockpile. So we remove that one, yes. And again, if you're not running DF Hack, you're going to see a lot of differences in the way that I'm playing. Please, I did this in the first one. Please install DF Hack if you're going to be playing Dwarf Fortress. It'll make your life so much easier. Like you'll be able to sort of really manage a lot with the way that the fortresses perform. So we've still got a lot of wood outside, but I just needed to get this one close in case there was issues. Now we've still actually got our we've got our miner in through here, or not miner, our wood cutter. This is Cole, the wood cutter. So she's just going to go out, and I think we've still given her a few other areas to go and get wood, just in case we get locked down. I do want to make sure that I've got access to a lot of wood, and I need that inside. So that will then get the dwarves that aren't doing anything to start working and bringing things inside the fortress itself. All right, well, let's just now let things develop. The next thing I want to be doing once we actually get this bit of it dug out is to, I'll just go down to the bottom here, is essentially to allow the, hang on, just let it run forward, will be to then try to find a cavern layer pretty fast, but at the same time, we're going to now start to build the infrastructure of the fortress, like the absolute essentials that we require. Here we go, so the wood is now coming in. I can just grab that stockpile and just repaint the stockpile as these guys sort of do what they're doing. So that's now been done. We'll see them come back across the other side. Here they come. So they've now come back through. And we've found metal in here. One thing you can do is just click on the actual ore. This is magnetite. Magnetite is an ore of iron. So we can actually, we've got like a lot of magnetite on this layer. We may be able to do things with that and, you know, do some sort of mining operation. At some point, there's a heap of it. So we've got heaps and heaps of it. Anyway, this will then come through, so any wood that we have will then sort of come back through here. Now, I think this has to be connected. I don't think I can actually go and paint into here. Oh, we can actually. There we are. So I can still keep on building more of the same stockpile. I can't change Z levels. Just let these sort of develop. And so that will then allow me to essentially lock down the fortress reasonably well. I won't go any further. All right, now let's just pause that again. What we actually have also at the top of the fortress, if we just go to F1 will always take you to where you started. That's one of the keyboard shortcuts. We are building, I think, a few extra things. We're building wooden bins. We do actually have some more doors. I need more hatch covers now. So I'm just going to add a new task. Make wooden hatch covers. Just need one more of those. Thank you. So she's now just working away. The others are still going off to bring the wood in. They'll then just continue on down through the fortress. What I might just do is grab another door when we get down to the bottom here. Actually, what I will do is just paint this again, but paint it, just get rid of that one there. All right, so I'm just going to go and go into my construction and through here, the building menu. Go to doors and hatches. Put a door right in here, and so I've got one nether cap door. Bang, done, and that will be another lock. So again, it's all about security. Everything is about security, and it's because it's so dangerous. Up through here, we want to have a hatch cover. But there's 10 hostiles now. There's a new one that's actually hit the that we've come across. So we'll need to find out what that is in just a minute. But in through here, we've got the this is an area where we need a hatch cover, but I don't actually have any hatch covers. So one thing you can do in the fortress is, particularly if you're running DF Hack, is to go into planning mode, and when that gets built, it will then go and fill that particular requirement. So I'll go back to my building menu, go to doors and hatches. If I click on hatch at the moment and try to place a hatch, needs hatch cover, make a workshop first, no access to hatch cover. So there's no hatch covers available. In this case, we can just go back in again. We can go to doors and hatches, go to hatch, but I can change to show planner. As soon as I click that open, it will then just, whenever there's any hatch cover available, it will make use of it. I can go and click on that one and then right click, and now we have a little timer. When it's built, it will then get placed there. So I don't have to think about it. I can basically build a lot of the fortress and then allow the dwarves to catch up at other points. Like, you know, if we needed to have other doors, for example, I could say, okay, look, let's place a door. Actually, we did already place a door at the top. So we've got the door up through up here, for example, and we're going to have this door now in the bottom of the fortress. So these things are important for us to put. We may even put another door somewhere else, just depending on what actually happens when we start to get fighting and things happening. If this becomes a threat, if these come to like back, from the dead or something like that, we're going to have to lock the fortress off and then find other ways to get outside or get past them. So it can become quite difficult. I don't think my 3 soldier dwarfs would be able to take on any like one of these on their own. Maybe they could, but it would be very, very dangerous at this point in time. I think I'd be inclined to lock the fortress down and then leave them to it. What we could do is, if it really becomes dire, we can actually build a little wall, a little room in here, and then just fill the gap up with a wall and just wall them into, and so that they die inside their own little area. But I'm going to try to save them if I can. That will be the goal, for me anyway. So I struck bituminous coal. That's actually good. This actually allows us to have a metal industry fairly easily with coal, bituminous coal. There's still a progression. So I'll try to go through these progressions as to how to build the chains of workshops that we actually require. The other thing I'm going to be wanting to do is to build a farming area, and I need to do that one fairly fast. So I'm going to do that one now. I'm going to do it, like, I've got to find an area that I can grow things in. So let's actually before I do that one, we'll just have a quick look. Oh yeah, okay, the ravens, we've been interrupted by them now. So if we have a bit of a look and just check on the outside, there's a raven corpse out here now that is interrupting our operation. So we've got one raven corpse in through there. These are not that powerful, even though they're 3 times more powerful than a normal raven, and they will attack our dwarves. Our dwarves will just run away at this point in time. It's a little bit dangerous with this one here. Let's find out what the 10th hostile actually is. Now I can either go and click through them through here. We've got all these different ravens around this area. These are all a fair way away. Is it all just ravens? Yeah, it is, before we get back there. So it's all just ravens. Let's deal with this now. So let's go and actually get our military dwarves back outside to take on this threat and just kill these off around the place. So I'm just going to go up to, I'm going to go to the squad sidebar, select the squad that we contained. The contained knives is the name of the squad, although it's actually maces. I might even rename it's more maces or hammers, the contained hammers, because I'm trying to use crush weapons rather than things like knives or axes or swords. I'm going to be trying to use crush weapons if I can. I do have 1 spearman. I've got 1 spearman, 1 maceman, and a hammer person as well. So if we go into the second one, we've got, like, the first adjective is contained, and then the X. I'm going to go to the X and select that one, and then just go into hammers. The contained hammers. There we are. So that will be the name done. So we've now just changed the name of the fort of this one, just so we like are emphasizing the crush aspect of what we're doing here. So I'm going to now give them a station order. I could tell them to go and attack this, but this thing is going to be able to fly around. I'm just going to give them a station order outside. So I'm just going to put them in around here somewhere, just to protect the proceedings. They will be able to cope with this fairly easily. So that's got them done. So they're now going to go out onto station. The rest of I'm just going to let everyone else continue working. Like, this is Dishab, for example. We've got Cole. Cancels, interrupted by a raven corpse. Is it inside? Oh, she may have gone out to get a piece of wood. We have a bit of a look here. The hatch cover has not been done yet. If we try to find Cole, where is Cole? Running away. So Cole has run away from the area, as has the militia commander. So the ravens are coming. So they're on their way. So I think this will be good. And so she's in a bit of a panic mode at this point in time, and has run away from the raven that was down near the entrance. So they've run away quite a distance. So we just have to manage these little things. It's not dramatically problematic, but we do have to manage them. There's no damage done just yet. All right, in the meantime, let's go and build our farming. Now, our farming can be done on this layer. We can't really do it on this layer. This would be difficult. This layer we can't use because of the aquifer above it. But this layer we can't use because it's rock. So we've only got one layer that we can actually build any sort of farming on initially, and we do need to do it. So nothing is. We need either a muddy ground on stone, or we need soil. And in this case, we don't actually have any soil. So I'm going to go up to, again, just up to the top and build a, this is the only real place we can look, this is the only real layer. We could build a farm, and I want to make sure it's on the inside of whatever sort of protection I have. So it's not going to be ideal, but let's just go and do this as well. Another doorway in through here. And I will then create like a fairly largish area. I don't want to do too much farming in here. It doesn't, like this, it's got so much flexibility and freedom in this game, but I'll just do it in that scale. So we can sort of get that done as well. Also, when we go down to the bottom of the fortress, I want to start to get my actual workshops done fairly soon. I'm going to dig down, but I want to dig down until I find a cavern as well. So let's just go and start that process. So we'll start from here and dig down a fair way down. I'm just using the scroll wheel. I'll go down to say -15 elevation, which is shown over here. And so we've got an up-down stair all the way down to there. I'll just do a single stair all the way through. Here we go. We now actually have the military is now fighting. So Erdem becomes a spear dwarf, and that's going to be fine. The Raven is fighting. And so we've got the farmer is fighting, and the spear dwarf, Erdem, is fighting. So we can actually now go and have a look at this. Let's have a look and see what's happening with the actual combat. If we have a bit of a look to see. Underneath us there, we've got the Raven corpse head and a mutilated corpse. So we've now got an undead Raven that's actually in through here, and this is ideal for us. So we've also got the farmer Dishab. Where is that? So you can see through here, Raven corpse bites the farmer in the right lower arm, bruising the muscle. So we've got a bruise through here. This is why it's not super dangerous. The Raven corpse attacks the farmer, but he jumps away, and then he just yells out, "I cannot stand by, this might require an answer." And so that's all he's really doing. Where was that? That was inside here. Now, if there are Raven corpses that have made their way inside, it's not a good thing. So I'm just going to leave that where that is. What is she doing? Hang on, we'll just go and see what she's up to. Storing an item in a stockpile. That's okay. I'm going to let them continue on out. We've now got 9 hostiles left. I'll just right-click to get rid of that one through there. I'll talk about military. There's nothing else that's super close by. We're not seeing them down low, but they're close. They could be above us, in which case we won't see them. So do this. Yeah, they're close. So they're just, we're down here, and they're up here. So they're coming down. Now, in the last one, we set up our squad, so I won't go through how to do all that again, but that's where we were. So they're going to be essentially coming in and possibly attacking our guys. So we've got one here with a mace, for example. So we'll be using the copper mace. Copper spear in through here as well, which is a stabbing weapon rather than a slicing weapon. Which will be fine as well. It also can keep units back away from things. And we've got a third member as well, which will be on his way. That's the militia commander back in through there. Let's just go back down again and not worry too much about the combat, because we will be able to cope with that one. And we'll have a look and see if we can find this cavern layer. I'll focus more on the bottom until we start to see other issues. More fighting. Now, we'll just have a quick look. Let's just pause again and have a bit of a look. We've struck white jade somewhere, but here we go. So we're still building this. Let's just watch as we go down deeper and deeper and deeper. Now, I do want to have a fair few layers where we don't have anything. Yep, we're going deeper and deeper. There we go. Actually, we did. Wow, we happened to luck out at the very, very end there. Sort of luck out, because and again, the first thing I look at is, did this grow? and it didn't, which is lucky. So we've now found an underground expansive cavern, and I quite like what we've actually found through here, because we're going to be able to make use of this. And what we'll find is that it will sort of then mold its way through the Z layers of what we're doing, and create a fairly intricate pattern. And our job fairly soon will be to find a way to lock off a usable area. And in fact, I'm actually inclined to do that one right now, and not bother with the farming above. But let's just click on OK. And let me talk about the caverns, because this is really, really quite important. I've got to click more, and then I'm just going to quickly pause. And we found a magma pool. I'll talk about this as well. And we'll go into it and just click on OK. And then quickly pause again. There's a lot to discuss what we've just found. So this is actually really quite important. We have now found a layer, and if I go and have a look, yeah, that we've come in right on this particular layer. If I go up above, see how there's actually this layer here is safe. This is the top. We've happened to have lucked out and come in right on the very, very top of the actual fortress of the of the cavern layer. Sometimes you could end up completely missing it. Like if I had have dug even one in over through here, we would have missed it, and I would have gone all the way past this and completely missed out just by digging one area over. It was just luck of the draw. But we did find this cavern. And this has got, you can see at the top there, dense cave moss. When you find cave moss or any sort of underground grasses, it will then start to change the terrain of anything else that you've dug up above. So if we go back up to the top again and in through here, this will start to fill up with cave moss, which means the horses will survive here for now. So we're sort of lucky where we are at this point in time. Now, we don't have any hostiles down below in the bottom fortress. I can go and click over through here to go to recenter on the deepest discovered area of this location. And if I go to here, we end up essentially at the bottom of that particular location there. And I won't keep on digging because we've now pretty much discovered the thing that we were looking for. And I'm pretty happy with this, to be honest, because I can block this off relatively easily. And I should be able to anyway. And so we'll just try to make a little usable area. Now we do actually have so there are cave spiders in here. We've got silk. The cave spiders don't really hurt us, so we don't have to really worry about them. There's one there, for example, a cave spider. These create silk, which also then drives one of our clothing industries. So these are all very, very important. Now, if we have multiple Z layers above us, like for example in here, we'll then be able to go and get trees. So this tree is we've got 3 layers of Z layers above that one before we end up with solid rock. So this also, if we could block this area off, would actually be quite a nice little area as well. And looking at this one here, that's actually quite doable, because there's it actually blocks off into here, for example. So you've got to sort of find areas that you can isolate relatively easily, which is it's easier said than actually done. But I'm just looking for, okay, I don't want to be too greedy, but I do want to establish a zone in here that I can control, and then we'll probably use our farming here. So let's go up and ditch our efforts at farming in the other location. A few other things to look out for. When you start to see, in fact, if I go back into here, we've discovered the deep expansive cavern. We've also discovered a magma pool. Where did we discover that? We discovered it in here. So we've got something in here showing us that there's a magma pool, and I don't think we get to see it as such, but we are seeing, see how there's obsidian all the way around through here? So there's something in there where there's actually magma coming in. If I go and click on this one through here, this is all hot. This is interesting, because we may end up with a magma. We may end up with magma fairly high in the fortress, which would then also instead of using coal to drive our smelting, we can use magma to do that. So that's actually really exciting, and that's not that far away from where we are. So we can sort of get a bit of a feel for all of this, of what we can sort of spot, but we don't know exactly what it is at this point in time. So we're seeing obsidian in through there, obsidian in through there, and this is then just going to extend on down. So it looks like we have like a, what's it called, basilisk type volcano, like where the volcano has come up but hasn't actually broken through the surface. So we're actually in a volcano, which is just luck of the draw. We didn't know that when we came in. This is quite rare in the game to find this sort of treatment. So what I'm better off doing is actually trying to figure out where this particular one, for example, might be, and then look and come in from the top to try to find where it actually is. That presents its own dangers as well, and fun. With a capital F. Another thing to be aware of, and I noticed it when I first came in, was that there's when I come back into, I might just ditch all of this stuff. Actually, sorry, I'm just going to go and stop this now that we've sort of discovered this layer. We don't need to do any more through there. By the way, this is still an up-down stair, which means that it's actually gone through the layer below, but we haven't dug out the usable area of the layer below. So if there's an up-down stair that essentially has gone through the roof of this one, but we've still got solid rock in the room area of it. I spoke about that last time as well. The thing I'm interested in, when we start to see 3x3s of rock in amongst this sort of stuff, it means that there's something special inside it. And if I scroll on down, you'll notice that this is actually all made up of different clusters. We've got black diamonds, we've got green diamond clusters, we've got black diamonds in through here, red diamonds. And so something is in the middle here, this little area in the middle. I don't even know if I go and click on that one, in this case, we're not seeing, sometimes it's full of magma and sometimes it's not. But you'll often find these, and these are essentially little goodie huts of goodness, where not only do you get the gems from around it, but there can be artifacts locked inside. There can be all sorts of little things. So it's like a treasure trove, but we don't know what that is. But it can also have demonic creatures. So just be aware that you could end up with like lesser demons or a lesser demon that actually inhabits that particular zone. So it can be a little bit dangerous, but not. But it's worth actually having a crack once you've actually secured an area. So that's actually very, very close to where we are. I don't know if I didn't see any others when I was just having a quick look around. They're not rare. In fact, there's one right there. So we end up with more of diamonds around this little area through there, for example. So there's another goodie hut. So you will find them. Just look out for them though, because as I say, they can present opportunities. Like for example, when we go on the side, if we see the heat symbol, it means that there's a little pool of magma inside it. And you can, even just with that one piece of magma, build a smelter on top of it and actually use that to actually drive industry as well. So there's all sorts of opportunities as you play more deeply into the actual game itself. I'll just see if I can find any others. I've still got the mining selected so that I see any sort of little warning signs around the place. Not seeing much down through there. This is interesting because what I'm noticing here is this doesn't go anywhere else other than down in this corner, and it stops there, and it stops. So as I go down, there's nothing down below it. This is negative 15 into here. Negative 14 then also doesn't go any further. So that actually blocks all of that off and goes up to there. So negative 14. And then and all the way across to this other side. Then we've got negative 13 is in this area through here, where again that all gets blocked off. Let's just follow one little track. I'm trying to find where the choke points are. This one does go up into here, which then extends, and I no longer can see what's going on. So the only real problem we have is we have a problem once we go from this layer up. So if I block that off, I've then blocked off all access from here into that little zone. So I'm looking for these choke points. So that blocks that one off. This one here, for example, is blocked off. In fact, without being greedy, I could... No, sorry, this one's still got multiple layers above it. So I'd have to do multiple layers, which is not a problem. We can definitely do that. So I'm probably better off... Excuse me, I need to block this off as well. I might do that, actually, because this would then make this all part of my usable area. Now this one here doesn't go. Oh yes, it does. We then lose sight of it in through here. So we've got a few different areas down there. So I'll have to. I'm now getting greedy because I'm now trying to capture a big zone underground for my own use. and I'm thinking I think I probably will end up. I'll do it in stages. I'll come back and do the big one because the little one is actually going to be quite useful. As we come back up again, we've got this layer through here which extends across, and then we've got water here as well. So we can actually make use of this water. And the fact that we've got water that goes all the way down, I'm thinking of making a little bit of a like anything above water, we can then use a well to then go and get the water from in through here. There is a pile of mud at the bottom of this, so we probably don't want to do it directly from in through here. You'll see when I hover over the actual water, it's 7 layers deep, but it does have a pile of mud at the bottom, which means that even if we use that water, actually I think if we had a well going into it, that would be okay. I like to do wells 2 layers deep, so we end up with extra water coming back in. So we might still manufacture that ourselves. This is not seeing anything else off the side through here. Let's just go back up to this layer through here. So this isn't all that useful to us. I mean, just come back up the layers that we were then operating, which were in around here, and then this is where we popped out. So we do actually have our initial point is to build in here. We've got 1 layer which I could wall off relatively fast. Yeah, I could do that one relatively quickly, and then we could do our farming in here. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to tell the guys above to block this off. Now, if we have a look, again, we've got little individual zones that we can lock off relatively easily. So let's just go and do that. So I'm going to build as quickly as I can in this zone with the wood that we have. So it's going to be so again, it's an opportunity that's come up, so we'll just go and take it. So in this case, we're just going to go into our build menu. I'm going to go now to constructions and walls. I will be in planning mode. I'm just going to hide the planner for a second, but then just click on the keep on building after placement. And then I won't go back to planner because I do like to know what the walls actually are. So select material after placement. I'm just going to make this into different woods. So I'm going to go and grab 1 wood there. I'll show you a few of the little tricky things where you may end up in some sort of trouble as well. One of them is to it's actually, well, if I build from say here to here, so I click on there, and we've got all these different woods. I'll just go and use the walnut wood in through that side there. The dwarves can't build across a diagonal if it's been blocked off. Now, if that's not been blocked, they can work in there. But if we end up with a wall there, that will then be something that they can't access other than coming back in around here to then go and dig that one. But we're going to be finishing off that one as well. I'll just put all my walls in place first, and then we'll just deal with it after that one. So we've just got hazelnut. I'll just go and place that one through there. And yeah, I'm thinking of doing it this way. I might actually go and just capture a little bit extra here. Use the apricot. I can always come back in. Now that's all useful, so I will actually grab this instead. So I'm just using different wood, so they'll have to bring these down as they build them. And then through here again, units can walk across the diagonals if they're left open. If we just go above and below, that one sort of works out okay. That one, this little hole doesn't go anywhere. There's nothing else for that one. That one there we can block off by just building a wall straight across here. Otherwise I'd have to build one across in through here as well, but let's just build it straight across from there to there. And so I'll just go and just use the apricot wood. There we are. So, and now I can just go through and just right click. I can now just go through and sort of fix up the little bits and pieces that I now want to make sure that I can't get access to. I don't want that one anymore, so I'm just going to go and cancel that construction. The other things that now we're not going to be able to grow trees properly in here. So we have to be aware of that one. We do actually have things like plump helmets, which we can go and harvest. This one here is the only real problem one. All the others can be reached orthogonally if there's something built next to it. So that's really not a problem anywhere. In fact, being greedy even more, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this. Let's just go and cancel the construction all the way through here. I can get even a bigger area. And while they can't walk diagonally, if I just lock that one out to there, if I build over the top of a hole, it's still going to work because they can't go diagonally up through there if I've got the if I've got a wall placed on top of it. That will then secure that whole little area actually. So I will just go across this other side. So let's just go across. We've got walls, so we've got constructions, walls. And we'll just do it that way. That gives me this little area to, oh hang on, we still need to block off this as well. We've got pigtails in through there. Again, I can just go and capture that, so I might as well just do that as well. You've got to really make sure that you block this off. If there's anything bad that comes through in here, we want to make sure that we are fully secure in this, particularly in this such a dangerous location that we're in. We've got all that selected, and all this is just one layer. If I just scroll up and down, I just need to block off this one somewhere. Again, I don't want to do it on the diagonals, and I don't want to do it there, so I need to do it there, just to pick up the so that there's no so that it can be orthogonally reached, and that there's no diagonal opportunity for anyone to break through anywhere that we've got this done. Okay, that's going to be useful. This is a bit of a priority, so I won't give the dwarves anything else to do at this stage. We'll just get that happening. So we'll allow that to go on. That is good. The thing I love about this game is that we find all these different opportunities to do different things, and it changes the way you play the game as you play it. It's no two games of Dwarf Fortress is ever the same. You can have a plan of how you build your fortress, and we will do that as we sort of come into this zone in through here as well. So we will actually continue digging down deeper than this layer. In fact, we may end up blocking this layer off, but then actually going and having another entrance somewhere else, because once this is all walled off, there's nothing that can break through the walls. So it's completely secure, just this tiny little area. And for farming, and even initially for the placement of the animals, this is actually ideal. So that's really, really cool. So let's just go back up, and we've got a fair few usable layers here of rock, but we also now need to figure out where that magma is coming from. Because that's fairly important. In fact, if we go back down and have another look, we might even look at that. Well, so way over here, which is a fair way away from the rest of our fortress. As I come back up, we don't know exactly where that magma will be, but at the moment it will stop. So we've got this layer, it's a fair way over. Let's not worry about it at this point in time. It's an opportunity for later on. It means I can now build the rest of my staircase. So let's just go into the staircase. That was such a lucky find. Yeah, that was very, very cool. And I will actually come and build them all down to here. So we've now just got an up-down stair back and through there, and I'll ultimately build staircases above just to connect these up as well. So we'll build all of those all the way down to the bottom there, but we've got a lot of layers here now in between, underneath this layer that we can make use of. What I try to do is I try to have like a theme for each actual layer. And so we're also going to, now there's no other actual, yeah, we'll just go back up the top again and stop what we were going to be digging, because we no longer want to be having this. There's no point having that anymore. We've found a better solution for our farming. So we don't need to build the farms in here. Once we get the walls built, I will start farming as a matter of priority. We've still got the Raven Head. So the Raven Head has come back to life because it's a reanimating biome. So until we actually completely crush things, and this will be even easier to deal with. Like if I go and actually have a look at this one and have a look at the actual what's happening. So there's Raven Head misses the Spear Dwarf. Has a tide turned to feel no terror. Speardorf stabs the raven head in the head with a copper spear, tearing apart the muscle, shattering the skull, and tearing apart the brain. That's it. Job done. So it's the head rolled around a little bit. That was above, up through here. So again, we've just got the mutilated corpse now and the mangled head. When you see mutilated and mangled, it usually means that they can't really come back to life. But we are going to have to deal with those. And we'll do that one later on, hopefully in this episode. We'll see how we go with the leaving the undead bodies around the place. Because we do have to manage that. We've got a fair few things we have to manage. Anyway, let's just go and do this bottom layer. In fact, I'll just quickly go into here as well and paint the rest of this. Just we've got the wood stockpile will now be placed down in here. This will now be also then used to feed the walling off of what's underneath as well. I'll just let them do their own thing. Oh, hang on. Pause. We've discovered an expansive deep cavern underground. I'm just going to click on OK because that's sort of surprising. Where did we find that one? A deep cavern means the next layer down. And we've only got the 9 hostiles, always having a look back over across through here. How did we discover that? Oh, we've found this somehow. So this is the magma pool. And we can now see how far it extends up. This goes a long way up. In fact, we happen to find... Okay, we've actually happened to find the second cavern layer first. And we've now discovered the next cavern layer with a whole lot of magma in here. This is the volcano underground. Wow, okay. So this is the top of the magma. This changes things a lot. This is only elevation -3, -4, -3, -2, -1. So what we've done is we've accidentally dug, I think we've accidentally dug into it, have we? Yeah, we have. Okay, well, we have accidentally dug into this cavern layer above. This actually now complicates things a fair amount because this is a completely different cavern layer. We've now got 2 cavern layers. And we're going to have to somehow sort of dig our way through here or make use of it. Again, this has got a really high area. Like this one extends all the way up. And when we have a look at it, it goes all the way to level 0, really. And to put that into context, we're at level 0 there. Level 1, 2, 3 is there. We don't have a real lot of space. Because of the aquifer above us, God, we're finding so much stuff in here. I'm going to have to think about this. I'm going to actually pause where we are right now, and I'll come back and consider what our options actually are. So it's not the end of the episode, but it is the end of part A of this episode, because we now have to really think in terms, again, of A, security in the location that we're in, but then B, exploiting what we've found. And that's going to be really quite important. God, this really does change things. Anyway, I'll think about it and I'll come straight back. It'll be immediate. All right, I've had a big, long think about this. I'm going to structure this in terms of my thinking. I need to get security for the fortress done first. So that's my first priority, particularly with this dangerous biome that we're in. So we're going to start with security, and we're going to then work our way through the other bits and pieces. Now, security is not just military. Security is also future-proofing for food, things like that. So we've essentially started to do that down the bottom of the fortress, but I want to get that, like, as we go deeper into this little area, it's this area here that I need to have them block off, because this is such a usable area for farming and also ultimately for the animals. We want to wait until all of this is built before we sort of do anything. Oh, one thing I did mean to show you was that I need to suspend the construction there
so that we can get this one done easily. That's just a way to make sure that this one isn't built until this one is in, and then we just come back in and unsuspend it. It's a nice easy way of managing the construction. We don't have that problem anywhere else. Everywhere else we have access to, except for that one block into here, and it's only just one layer, so we just really have got it nicely contained into this little region, which is great. So and we may do other things as well, like for example, I mean, there's this tiny little area in through there. We're going to be wanting to have like a seed pod area. Now we may build that one off into this little location, but we've got a few different things we can do here. So this is not really, like this will be very, very usable for us. It will be very, very important for us as well as we sort of start to do things. But let's just keep on going back up. We'll wait for that to be done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and block off what I've been starting to build through here until later on. So I'm just going to go in and turn off everything that is up through this little area. So I'm just going to go in, all the stuff we discovered in through here, to get rid of that. I'll get rid of it all the way up to, where should I do it to? Really until the top of this layer through here. In fact, even this layer is still valuable. So I'll do it to this layer here. That way we've only got really one entry now into this upper area that we have to block off. The next ones no longer have any sort of issue, and the one above it doesn't have any issue. So it's really only this staircase that's open. And to put this into perspective, the only thing that can actually break into here would be something that could fly through here, which is sort of fairly rare, but also there's also climbing ability. So there will be creatures that can climb up there as well, and they would have to climb from the bottom all the way up through the rock, and that's something that could certainly be done. Like goblins would do that easily. So not that you find goblins underground, but you get the idea. If there's any creature that can climb, we're in a lot of trouble. So one security item we now have to do is to secure this. Now, one thing we can do with our walls, if I go into the actual into the constructions walls and start to sort of build on the in fact, if I do it from there to there, and then just do this with the hazelwood logs, for example, just go all into there. I can build in this location even though I don't have flooring orthogonally. As long as this one here is not built, they can build as long as there's an opening on the diagonal. So this is why that's actually this is doable. That's doable now, but if this gets built, they're no longer doable. So we need to just make sure that that's actually done through there. I was thinking of actually continuing the staircase all the way down. I could do the same thing there without any real problem. I can do it there as well, but I can't do it here. So this is the one area where because this tree or this mushroom has actually now grown, this giant mushroom has grown into the area that we would need to block off. I hope that makes sense. But eventually we will fix that up. But initially, for our sort of rushing, trying to get security and also future-proofing the fortress, we need to do that. So I don't want to rush and build all these different workshops and things like that without actually having a plan in mind. And so we're going to now start to sort of figure out what we do. So the first thing we need to be doing here is to get the is to continue the mining. That will be okay. We only have a few usable areas in the fortress. This area I would consider usable as well. So I could build off in around into this sort of area because this is all nice and secure. I can then build the layers below, which I'm thinking I will do. In fact, I might even make this my standard workshop layer, just because we're really running out of space. So space is difficult for us. So what I like to do is just as a matter of course, I like to actually start with an ability to block everything off that I need to block off. So I'm going to block this one off, and then just start to do, and I like to just do corridors like 2 wide just for the neatness of it. So I'll start to dig out this little area. So that will be essentially a corridor, and then I need to have different workshops in here. So I need to bring down, and I like to, at the moment I'm doing these as 4x4. I used to do them as 5x5. 3x3 is the absolute minimum, but what can be quite good is to just have a little bit of a stockpile of whatever the workshop uses nearby. So we need one for the carpenter. We need one for the masonry, at least one, possibly 2. In fact, I'll put a second one in. So that's 2 masons, 1 carpentry. Then we're going to have on the other side a crafts dwarf, because we do need to actually sort of build crafts and different things we can do. And the other one we're going to need is a mechanic. Now they're the critical ones that we're going to be requiring. In fact, I probably won't bother building that one just yet. So let's just now go with the what I've got selected, I can go and click the little arrow that's next to here. And what this one at the very, very end, just past where my head is essentially changes the to blueprint only. If I click on that one and start to use this this one, it's going to change things into blue. And so what I can do is I can actually I can plan the fortress out using like I can sort of just get a plan for the whole fortress if I wanted to, which is actually not a bad idea. So let's just go and do that. We're going to end up with various things down. Now this one here, I don't really need to build this immediately, so let's just do what we have to build. So if we just go and turn that one off again, I need to have access points into these little workshops. And one through there, but let's not do this last one at the moment. So the other thing I can do is I can make it change from standard selections to blueprints. And what this one does is it's a marquee select tool. I just go and do that anywhere down through there, changes it to blueprints. I don't need that either. So that's then getting me down a little way down into where we actually are. Now the other thing we actually have here is again, because everything's so tight, I do actually have the layer above. It's only this layer here that's a problem. You can sort of see there with the wall, it's if I was digging up into here, we'd have an issue because we're now seeing that above that is the aquifer layer, which we have to just avoid. And so I can build onto this layer easily and without any real problem. So I'm going to go and do, what I like to do is have my major storage close to the workshops. So I'm going to do that one above this area. So all I do here is I just go and build a staircase. So I tend to just do them sort of like halfway along between each one of these. So I'll just do one there and go up one. So it's just going to be up and down one. And then ultimately I'll just go back into blueprint mode again. So we'll be wanting to do the same thing in here and then the same thing in here. And we may end up with more of them across, but that will get us started. Now, the first big one that we end up having is going to be extremely useful. I'll just turn that one off again and just go back into here. So this is going to be where we end up. We do actually have a fair range that we can actually sort of then go. I tend to try to keep it fairly neat, but in this case, I could actually bring this one and make it fairly major, like fairly large. This will be for all of our wood and rock. So I tend to have that off one side and then the other side as well. Just go off and like with some really big storage areas. But to dig all that out initially, unless we've got other urgent things, this will take a long time for our miners to do this. So I'm just going to go back to changing it to blueprint mode again and just get myself a useful area, like just something like this. So I'll just go and grab that area there, for example. And I'll probably end up just making the wood stockpile in here ultimately, and then the stone stockpile here, and we'll have probably the carpenter on the southern side, something like that. Like will be all we'll need to do. That will just get us working with the initial workshops. Actually, I'll just make sure that we no longer have. Yeah, that one's gone back to just normal mode, which is fine. So that's one way of just planning out your fortress. And in fact, one thing I should do is even just again for the future is just go and dig in another little area here for another workshop. Now, the reason that the workshops that I produce have actually got only one entry is that if somebody gets taken by a fey mood and we can't satisfy the fey mood, they will eventually starve and die, or they will go crazy, one of the two. At that point, what we need to do is put a door as we start to notice there's problems. We need to have a door on that particular location and then lock them in and let them die, but then they can't actually really do any real problem. So there'll just be like a zombie in that particular room. So that's sort of that's why we have these doors like this. Again, security. It's a method, and it's something that you will do no matter what sort of fortress you have. If they can't satisfy what they're trying to build, and we will get that, I'll show you that when things do happen, but if they can't get what they need, that's what we'll have to do, is to actually sort of make sure that we actually manage that. So that's one thing we have. So that will then be our workshop layer. I might just let the game sort of now run forward a little bit while we do this. They can just keep on doing things. I've still got the guys outside until this really fills up with wood, and until all the other bits and pieces are built. Yes, we've got the magma pool. That's such a lucky find. We're going to be able to do a lot of things with that. I think what I'll do is not focus on that for any length of time. There's the next one in through this other side. When we've got enough wood down in here, I'm going to bring everyone inside. So we're finding different things. Well, here we go. I just pause again because we've now got a Raven is fighting. So the Hammer Dwarf is now fighting back up at the top. So you can sort of see through there. Raven Corpse attacks the Hammer Dwarf, but he jumps away. So if we just go up and have another look at what's going on here. We also have this little thing in through here. This is the announcement screen. We can do it that way. I can go to the actual unit itself. So this Raven is attacking the Hammer Dwarf. And so this is Rayquist, who is on station at this stage. Now, they're still all healthy. There's no real problem in through here, but we can actually go to this one here, which is see the creature's combat history. This can be quite good because you can actually just do this, click on that little button through there. I don't know if this is part of DF Hack or part of the base game, to be honest. And then just let the game run forward, and every time something happens, so it misses the Hammer Dwarf, I can just keep on doing it, and it will keep on pausing as I unlock it. Misses, attacks, but he jumps away. The Hammer Dwarf's not actually having a crack back at it. Charges the Hammer Dwarf, the Raven Corpse collides, and the Raven Corpse is knocked over and tumbles backwards. So the corpse, you can see there, it's fairly easy for our military to deal with these undead. I'll just undo that one, but that's essentially what's happening in through there. So this one is now on the ground, and eventually, I don't know why these guys aren't coming in to try to help with this particular attack. They should be actually sort of focused on what's going on here. But I don't think I really have to concern myself with what's going to be going on at the top there. So I'm just going to leave that one where that is. Now there's things like, for example, like Cole, who is our woodcutter, is cancels constructing a building. It's interrupted by a Raven. So I think it may have popped outside. If we just find where Cole actually is. And yeah, so she's run away again from the outside here, a fair way away, which is a bit of a problem. I still needed to chop down more trees as well. So she got scared of this one. This is often what's going to happen. So you've got to be a little bit careful. We'll keep it going, but we'll keep on keeping an eye on what actually does happen with the suspended the construction of a wall. So if we go and have a look at that particular message, which one got suspended? This one got suspended because of what actually happened. So we just need to resume the construction. So because it was probably going to go and grab some wood from outside to bring it down. So we'll just keep things sort of thumping along in through this other side. We're going to get a few of those different sorts of things at some point. Yep, so nothing being built in through here yet. There's a lot to be done. In fact, what we might do is we might just leave this for a little while, and then we'll come back across and have a look and see where we're up to with everything. So if we just go and maybe just look at the top, I think, just watch this fight. There we go, we killed that one off. Another Raven coming in, killed that one off. You can see we're down to, now we've got a group of citizens is stranded. Cole is actually up through here. Now this is a problem. See how all of her clothing is gone. She somehow ended up in the tree. And what's around her? Raven Corpse's right foot. Raven Corpse in through there. Raven Corpse's skeleton. So she's gone up. There's only 3 hostiles left. I think that she has actually somehow dropped her her equipment. So something has happened in through here. So stranded citizens is Cole. So is actually up in the tree. I don't know how that happened. Let's have a look and see it from her perspective. So yeah, so she keeps on being interrupted. And then we've got the woodworker Cole is fighting. So she's actually come into the full swarm. There's only 3 of them left on the actual map. Let's have a look and see the histories. I really do enjoy these, I've got to say. So let's just go and have a look at Cole's adventures so far in the fortress. In fact, probably the easiest way to do this is not so much to look at this one through here, but to have a look and see. I'll click on Cole and then actually do this combat announcement through this other side. So there's a lot that has happened through here. So bites the woodworker in the lower leg, bruising the fat. Bites the woodworker, and so anything that's in this orange color is sort of the interaction from the enemy, and then anything in white is going to be what she does. So it's attacked by the dead. This is truly horrifying. Bruising, we want to just see what actually happens through here. Bruising the skin, scrambles away. You can see it's not really super dangerous just yet. The woodworker stands up, so she scrambles away but then stands up, attacks the woodworker but she jumps away. The woodworker hacks the raven corpse in the head with a battle axe and severed parts, so she's chopped off one of their heads. So she is fighting back here a little bit. Raven corpse bites the woodworker in the head, denting the skin and bruising the muscle. The force bends the neck. The raven corpse bites the woodworker in the right hand, bruising the muscle. Raven corpse bites the woodworker in the lower body. And through that side, the woodworker stands up. Raven corpse snatches at the woodworker. At the woodworker. So we're getting a lot of stuff in through. This is still fairly early. I'm just trying to see where she drops her all of her equipment. Bruising. I'm just seeing there's no blood that I've seen so far. Jumping. She may be jumping into the trees for all we know. Bruising the muscle, bruising the skin. Jumps away, bruising. Woodworker charges at the raven corpse, collides, and the raven corpse tumbles over backwards. So the woodworker punches the raven corpse in the left wing, and the injured part is smashed. And then the woodworker hacks the raven corpse in the head, the severed part. So she's actually done more than what our military has done. But unfortunately, she was outside and ran away, and so she's miles away from our actual fortress. Hacks the corpse and in the leg, and that we can see bones around because of that. Right foot. It sails away, hacks the raven corpse in the head, and so that's 3 that she's killed. Okay, so the raven corpse bites the woodworker in the upper leg. Again, it's just bruising. It is twisting though as well. So she is going to become. Yeah, here we go. In this case, the giant raven dress is now been ripped off her. So she's now lost her dress. Bruising the muscle, so we're nearly at the end now of what's actually happened. Punches, and she actually still got the copper battle axe. The severed part sails off in an arc. So, all right, so she got rid of another head. So she's actually been able to kill a lot of these ravens. I don't know when she got into the tree, but she's up there now. She's a fair way up, and that's a problem. So she is now stranded. She may be able to climb her way back down, but probably not. So now we have a rescue mission that we have to do, unfortunately. So she can't really do anything while she's actually up in here. I think she could get down to this one by climbing down. If we have a look and see, let's have a look at her. So the raven heads have actually pecked away until her dress has fallen off. So she's now, if we have a look and see where she is, you can see she's still healthy. If we have a look at her health in through this other side and look at the description, we're going to see her right ear is broken, her right ear is bruised, her left arm is dented, that means scarred, the right upper arm is bruised, so dented and bruised all the way through. So she's got sort of like scratches and scarring and bruising all over her actually. So she really is, she really has been in the wars, but there's no, like, she's not actually injured yet, so it's just sort of superficial at this point in time. So that really isn't a big problem. No medical history. There's nothing there that she absolutely has to do. So she's got no health problems. Let's have a look and see where these other hostiles are. So there's one way up over here, which is miles away from her. Another one above that one. And another one even further up at the top there. So where she is it seems to be okay. Like if we start to go down to the ground, again, she will be in around, if I just come back down across, she is over here, I think. Somewhere in here. Just trying to find her. There she is. So she's very close to the center of the map, but she's still a long way away from where things are. This will be the heads, I'm guessing. There's 2 different ravens' heads in through that side. What else have we got? We've got the upper legs. We've got the right foot. So we're seeing a lot of raven componentry around the place. Now to get her out of there. We're going to have to try to get some sort of ladder or some sort of stair built. So let's go and do that now. Again, she's really important because she's the wood cutter. Just got called away to have a chocolate crumpet, or chocolate croissant, sorry. So, sorry about that. Yeah, so we're just talking about how we're going to actually do this rescue. She can climb around in the tree. she may not even have a climbing ability, to be honest. If we have a look at the skills that she has, we've got sort of like different sorts of skills in through here. But if we click on this one through here, now the fact that she's been in the tree will actually give her some skill as well. There's so much different stuff. We've got labour skills. So you can see that she's a level 4 woodcutter. She's a competent carpenter. She's very important in this fortress. So we absolutely have to get her back. Adequate weaponsmith, novice armor smith, and dabbling stone cutter as well. We've got the so in combat wise, she's now a dabbling armor user a little bit. She's got a bit of discipline, observer, fighter, wrestler, dodger. Is sort of what we're sort of finding, that she's actually got a little bit of that one. The dodging is why she jumped around and why she ended up jumping into the tree. So that's actually how she ended up getting into the tree. She jumped. Social wise, these are different things that won't really do it. Other skills. Dancer, yeah, that's okay, and then knowledge, then that's not gonna help us. So she unfortunately doesn't have any sort of climbing skills, but that is something that ultimately she should be able to climb her way out to the bottom rung of the tree. It's just this one little area that we have to get to from either side. In fact, if we do it from up to this limb here, so to do that, we have to then figure out, okay, well, how do we get it up to the tree? I could actually have somebody else go and try to find an axe somewhere and chop the tree down, but then she's going to fall and actually injure herself, most likely injure herself. The dwarves will have fairly major injuries if they fall a couple of Z levels, and this would be 2 Z levels that she would fall. So we definitely don't want to be doing that. But sometimes it may be the only way of actually doing something. So always, this is what I love about Dwarf Fortress. It's about problem solving with things that you may not expect that you have to solve. So what we can do through here, we don't have any step ladders, and even if we did, we couldn't tell the step ladder we want to put the step ladder up against this tree. But what we can do, we can build a staircase. So we're going to go down to our construction menu, our build menu. We're going to go to constructions, and we're just going to build a staircase. And this is quite often, I always think of staircases made out of wood as scaffolding because it's only temporary. So if we have a temporary staircase, in which case this one will be, we're just going to place one there. We're going to go up and just leave it there. In fact, that's, yeah, you can see there, select materials for the up-down stair. Amount needed is 2. In fact, I'll just go and add that one in there. So apricot wood logs, I'll just go, that one's only 15 away and the other one's 15 as well. So we've got a couple of them that can then be built at this location. So we're just going to have like a staircase that goes from there to there, and so that will then be constructed, and that should be able to then bring her down. So that will be what we'll end up doing that in that side. Now with the constructions, I can then just go and just make sure I've got nothing else selected. I can just go and have a look to see like job taken by nobody. Make this a top priority, yes, on. So somebody's going to come and prioritize building that. Let's just watch and see what happens. Here comes another raven. That's a head come back to life. Now that's going to freak people out. Here comes somebody else. Dishmab. I'm going to now send my military across. Tick to select them. And we're going to just kill this raven head. Otherwise, it's going to get in the way. We'll just confirm the kill. Off they go. See how they're running away? Bang, that one's done. They no longer have any jobs. I'm thinking I just let them now do their own thing. So they've now gone off duty. So it's the same as if I said, no, don't do anything. I'm happy enough that to be the case. Let's just go and put them back away. There we go. Going to go and build this. It's been constructed. Here comes the other head back to life. Get our squad again. And select. And in this case, we've still got... She's still stranded up there. Because this is now construction suspended. Resume construction. Make that a top priority. So we just need to finish off this this staircase, and that hopefully will then be enough for her to climb back down. See how she's crawling around on the limbs. She hopefully will then be able to make it down once this has been constructed. So with this now, the other one that's now on through here, we'll just tell them to go and kill that one as well. Confirm, and we'll just try to crush it. Up they come. It's rolling around on the ground. Done. All right, another one is now in the tree. This is a raven corpse, but without the head. So if you look at its health, for example, and look at this description, it'll probably say that it doesn't have a head. Its head is right. Actually, no, it's still there. So she must have killed that one automatically. So she's now sort of running around in the trees. Not that we can do much about that. Oh, there it goes. It actually came back down. It's now attacking our military. So this Raven Corpse, I've got 4 hostiles because this one came back to life. This is the reanimating biome problem that we actually end up having. Kill that one. Confirm. I'm just going to keep this open because we've got a lot that we need to then go and do. That's now been done. And we just saw another bone just got chopped away. Still 4 hostiles. What else have we got? We've got that one which is near where she was. It's another head on its own. Okay, we'll go and kill that one. Confirm. We just need to crush all these things. So we need to mangle them so that there's nothing there. There's another head there as well. Okay, but they're not in the tree. So let's just continue on. That one's been done. We now just go across to this one as well. Confirm. Done. That one's not. It's mangled. That may be enough. This one's now asleep out in the snow. That's okay. There's no special orders, but that'll be all right. Wait for this to be built. So somebody will have to come and build this one for us. I've only got the 2 hostiles that are left. See, sometimes you just may have to abandon your, somebody that is stranded if there is any sort of problem. But in this case, we're just going to have to keep on going, I think. She's asleep in the tree. That was quite a funny little interaction that, as you can sort of see through there. Let's make doubly sure that is on. Yeah, so there's someone's going to prioritize this. I'll just finish off what they're doing. Now, there goes another Raven Corpse. We will come back again and focus on that one. Got scared and ran away. This one keeps on. Now, if we can find out what's going on through here. It's the, interrupted by a Raven again. Just trying to build that staircase. So it's the interruption that's the problem. So we need to resume constructions. It's still a priority. So sometimes we just have to keep on doing this. Let's just go back down into the bottom of the fortress again, or into where we actually had the areas that we were building, just so we can keep on focusing on what we're doing. We've got one area through here. I'm going to make this my stone area, my stone working. So we'll go and build a stone workers workshop in that location. So I'm just going to go across to workshops. In this case, stone worker. So this is one of the crucial ones that we have. I'm just going to go and build that one there. It leaves me with a little bit of state, like whatever's closest. The siltstone will be fine. So we're just going to make use of that one. So these guys are now, he's come back down into here as well with what we actually have. Still only got the 2 hostiles. This should be okay. So all sorts of bad things could happen here at this point in time. So there's a bit of a panic. I'll just go F1 and then just go across. Got that Raven head there, which is going to be the target. Oh, she's down. She's down. She's down. She's down. No, she's back up again. I thought I saw her. She's just, see how she's got the little hand symbol? It means that she's scrambling, but she actually got down at one point. I saw her here. The woodworker is fighting again with the Raven. So she's got a lot going on here. Anyway, she's fairly hardy. We just need to get this staircase built. And we've got another one that's now run off way over here somewhere. Another one of our dwarves has really taken flight. But we've only got the one that's stranded. 2 hostiles still flying. Oh, we've now got ourselves a great horned owl corpse. This is a problem. When you see the word great, now, no, it's not a giant. Sorry, great horned owl will still be more difficult than a raven. But great horned owl is not a giant horned owl. I thought it was a giant for a second, which I thought, oh, well, that's going to be beyond what we can cope with. So we're still actually okay. And it's a fair way away from where we are. So let's just try to keep this all going at this point in time. Let's make sure that somebody's got this job to perform. Come on, somebody needs to do this job. This is a priority, an absolute priority. To see what's going on with that, I'll just pause it for a second. We can go down to the tasks and sort of see what's actually going on. We've got digs, we've got sleep for a couple of them. There should be construction. You can see that some of these have been paused. These are all different walls, but the downstairs is Rakust, one of our military. So where is Rakust? If we go and click on Rakust himself, oh, that's actually where he's trying to go. Is that Rakust there? Yeah, it is. So Rakust should be grabbing. Now, why are you not moving? It's trying to construct a bit. It's trying to haul it, and I don't know why it's not. Okay, if there's a problem, what we can then go and do, like sometimes there are little issues like this. I'll just pause that because for whatever reason, Rakust is not moving off from there, which is then stopping this one. I'm going to go and suspend the construction, which means that there's no longer a job, which means that Rakust shouldn't have that job anymore. So that will then will just go off. Now Rakust is moving up this way. What are you going to be doing? It's got no job. Let's now go back and resume construction. It just can't, he just doesn't grab it. Suspend construction. So I'll just suspend it again. And then I'm just going to put these back on, just so we get someone different to come and try to finish this off. It may be just that it's inaccessible. And if that's the case, we may have to build a different one further out where the tree actually is. Let's do that so we end up with a branch that comes all the way out. Because you can certainly move around in the branches. So let's just, it may be getting through this branch, may be just the thing that's actually stopping them from doing anything. So with that in mind, and again, it's all problem solving. I've never had to do this before, so it's sort of one of these things where you're thinking, oh, you know, what do we have to do? So I don't want to go there. What I want to do is I want to have a staircase here. This can be fairly convoluted. I'm going to go up 2 layers this time. And we're just going to make these out of apricot wood logs there. And actually that's only 9, so we'll just do that one there. We'll start there. We should be able to build this one. And again, this is all going to be high priority for all of these. See how that goes. Yeah, this is not a problem. It must have been because of what was happening. That's the first one built. Next one. Built. Last one. Coming back across, hauling the logs. Okay, this is now going to work. Oh. Now, we're not active with the military, so we now need to go back again. So this is where this sort of interaction becomes quite tricky. Need to kill that raven corpse, but this is now going to be suspended, so we now have to resume construction of that as well. That one's now done. Oh, and it's now thawed as well, so we're getting thawing coming through. Still a frozen river. Yeah, so we've now still got a few more things we need to be doing in here. That's been done. So she's down at this bottom layer, so she should be able to get out of here. I'll see if I can actually now go across. So she's actually holding on at this point in time, and she's actually now getting thirsty. This is quite tricky for us to sort of deal with this. Still holding the axe, which is good. What I'll do is I'll now try to build, because she's on that layer. We've now built this one up above. Let's just see if we can somehow build a floor, like a piece of flooring into there. Like again, I'm assuming this will actually be what we need to then, that we don't even need to do that. Let's just see if this will then work. I'm just going to go and cancel that construction there. So she's just holding on. Oh, hang on, we need to prioritize this one. got the floor there. There she is. So we've now got her. She's now got access, and she's no longer. So we saved her essentially by building a piece of scaffolding into that tree. Now, this is of use. This is useless to us. We can actually go and pull these down if we're wanting to, but let's not worry about it. It's not going to impact our fortress at this point in time. Eventually, when it's time to start cleaning things up, I will do that one. But she now no longer has any clothing because it got ripped off from the various, from the ravens, essentially, when they attacked her in the tree. So that was a bit of an interlude away from what we were doing. She does need to chop these trees down. We've got a lot of other things we need to do. So we've got 4 hostiles. We've got a raven corpse there, another one back there as well, a third one. They're all together, and then we've got the owl coming in close. So that's closing in on the gap. I think what we might do is let's not have anyone outside at this point in time, and we'll just use whatever wood we've got inside until we've actually done with everything. So let's actually get everyone back inside. So there's no special orders in through here. We can if I lock this is the entrance down into here now that it's now sort of thawed. If I go and lock that, if there's anyone outside, it will then tell us that somebody can't actually make it back inside. But I think that everyone else has all gone back in. Oh no, there's not. If I let things go, that one can't get back inside. So let's just open that one back up, make it passable again. Here they both come. All right, let's just see now if anyone is still outside. We should get something saying that there's people that are stranded. I think we're all okay. So we've got everyone has now come back inside, and now we need to she needs to get some clothing. There may be some clothing that she can find that the others dropped. But these are owned by the people who actually had dropped them. So this is Rakust's clothing, and I can't tell it that it's no longer owned by Rakust. I don't know if I forbid it and then unforbid it, it's still got the owner is still Rakust. So unfortunately, she is going to have a problem where she's always going to be basically, until we can get new clothing, she's not going to be able to wear any clothes. She's just going to be sort of basically in her undies. You can see through here, now that we've actually found this cave moss, it's now starting to fill up into the actual area, which will keep are both horses there? Yeah, they both are in the same location. This will keep them alive for now, but we need to get them down into a more secure location. So we've got that one's we can get rid of now. That one we can get rid of. Become a peasant. That one's fine. Yep. So we had all those interruptions as well. So problem solved. It took a bit of time to do that one. That's what we're going to be finding is there's always going to be little issues that we somehow have to figure out. And in that case, it was building scaffolding into a tree to get somebody down that happened to jump into the tree while they were fighting, and unfortunately now without any clothing. So we'll just go back down through the fortress and just see how we are with the in the meantime with all the mining that we were doing. So we're still mining out this area, and we also have the area down below. I'll let that just continue on, and we'll have a look and see what else we need to now do. Have the others started to fix up this? No, they haven't done that one yet. And they've started here, they've done that one, they've done that one. So they're starting to now build these as well. Now this one got interrupted because, and we're going to find that a lot of these may be from things that are outside. So let's just see what happens, and then we'll figure out the best way around this. So we may have to end up with making patchwork because a lot of these will be from outside. That owl, once that owl goes away, I'm going to be a lot more comfortable. So we'll just leave that alone. I could put my military back outside to deal with it, but let's just let everything now sort of run forward. Now that we've locked the outer door, we can just sort of watch as things sort of start to come. Now, the Stoneworkers Workshop. There's a lot of the different things we're going to be wanting to build in here. And one of the things we're going to be wanting to build is some more doors will be important. The hatches will be important. But often building things out of blocks will then allow us to build quite quickly as well. So I do like to get blocks done fairly early. But one thing we do want to get is actually the manager of the fortress. We need somebody to manage all of the different work that we need to do. So we're going to go and get ourselves, we need a chair and a table. So a rock table, please, and a rock chair. Let's just start that way. This is a good idea to get this one up and running fairly early. So we'll need both of those. We can't build beds, otherwise I'd start to build beds now as well with that. But let's also get some blocks, and we won't get too many. So rock blocks, add new task, rock blocks. I'll just get, let's say, 3 of these orders. So we'll just let things actually now sort of keep on running forward. 6 hostiles now. Now again, are they all outside? This one is, this is the Raven Head that's come back to life again. Yep, that one's now just flying around, and it's the Great Horned Owl, and yeah, so that's all. It's all on this top layer. We have to just keep on, as more things come in, we just need to come on double checking to make sure that everything is actually okay. What we might do is set up another level of security, and then allow our military go back up top and deal with all of these, and once that's clear, then come back down with the others. But I want to give the military a bit of a breather, just let them sort of eat and rest. We do have a few beds that have already been built. Might even build a couple more, like maybe one more. I want to be a bit careful with the wood that we actually have got inside the fortress, because we are going to run out. So we need those blocks, those rock blocks, to be able to deal with that. Oh, this is something I was hoping would actually happen at some point. So when you play in an evil biome, whether it be sinister, haunted, or terrifying, there's about a 50-50 chance it'll be a reanimating biome, but there's also a 50-50 chance-ish that the weather will also be supremely evil. And it can range from just making people feel irksome and just affect their mood, all the way up to killing them outright if they happen to go into it. And so in this case, we've got a cloud of cursed murk has actually now drifted nearby. If we have a look and see where this actually is, so we can see there's like a mist that has rolled in from in the top left-hand corner. We don't know what this is going to do to anything that's living that ends up inside it. So it could change them into zombies, it could just make them throw up, it could do all sorts of different things. But it's like a fog that has rolled in. It's called the Accursed Murk. So the Cursed Murk will be the name of the fog, and this will be a constant feature on our map. At different times, this will then come in and roll into our map. We won't know what the go is until we see someone living that goes through it. And that may or may not happen early-ish. If we're starting to find these cursed murks coming, or this cursed murk coming in close to where we are, really don't want to be risking that yet. So we just sort of want to keep things where they all are at this point in time. So let's not worry about that one through there. Yeah, we'll just keep on going back down and just watching as we start to develop this workshop layer. Just keep on down through here. Actually, I'll just go back down one more layer. So this will be the actual masons area. I'll just ditch that one. Oh, we've got a human lasher that's visiting. Let's go and see if maybe he'll go through the murk. No, he's come from the other side. So he's actually come in. Now this is, you often get visitors. Now he's got nowhere to go, so he can't get inside, which I don't care about much because it is just a human. And yeah, they'll all have different sorts of backgrounds. There'll be a history with them. This one's a legendary pump operator, but we can't really do much with her. So this is Alu. Oli Portenboyish is her name, and we don't know. Like we can see what her skill set is. If we go to combat, competent. Now she may be able to if we just leave her outside, she may be able to finish off some of these undead for us. But so let's just leave her alone. We won't let her in. So we'll just keep the fortress locked for now, and we'll just watch what actually happens to her. She may not survive. And we may sort of start to see some fighting going on while she's waiting for the door to be opened, which it won't be. Anyway, let's continue on down. And so when we see any fighting at this point in time, it's most likely going to be her. Let's just go back up or down into here. Now this location in here, the next one I still want to have all my stone working close to each other. So the stone worker, then the then the mechanic. And so the mechanic is going to be fairly important. We have a lot that we have to do, actually. We do need to get access to wood again, so we will have to go back outside or create an area underground for growing wood, because we're going to have to make traps, and we'll go through that fairly soon again, just for security. So in this case, we're going to go back into our build menu, our workshops, and then just go to the mechanic. This is an important one for trap building and for building the drawbridges. So and then also for building levers to activate the drawbridges. So it's sort of like it's not critical we get it early, but it's early. We need to get it early-ish. We do have some siltstone in through there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make everything from these out of stone. So we're now going to start to finesse different stockpiles. And so stone we're just going to find on the ground everywhere, like all this siltstone. So let's just go and build a one of these stockpiles. Just going to go and, hang on, click on existing stockpile, just go and do that one, add a new one. So I'm just going to build a stockpile in here. And this one is going to, I'm just going to accept it. Now I could just click on stone, but stone includes ores, like the metal ore. It includes clay, it includes all sorts of different other things other than just rock, and I just want rock, essentially. So with stone selected, I can then go down to custom. That then allows me to define what sort of stone I'm going to actually use. And in this case, I'm just going to go and all the metal ores that were selected in through here, I can go either none and deselect all of those, or I can go into individual ones. Now I don't want any metal ores stored in here. Economic stones are like the coal. I don't want any of those stored here either. All I want is other stone. I want any of them. I don't care what it is. Any other stone is going to be fine. I don't want clay. So I've got crosses next to all of those, but other stone is fine. So that's all we need in that particular location. So job done. That was going to be a stone stockpile, and then we'll end up with another stone stockpile over here as well. In fact, I should just be able to make this the same stockpile. So if we go back to this stockpile again and paint, I can then just paint across. And so we've now got two stone stockpiles in here, all the one stockpile, just basic stone. And so that's going to be fine. The miner will just keep on mining, and I want to always make sure I've got jobs for him to do as we sort of start to sort of operate. Now she's coming in to sort of do some masonry. She won't like, look, oh, this is important as well. The happiness of the fortress has dramatically dropped, And so it went from being, I think it was like 5 that were in the middle and 2 were fairly happy, to only 1 still happy, 2 in the middle, and then varying degrees of unhappiness draining through here. And I'm guessing that she'll be one of the ones that is unhappy because she hasn't got any clothing. And so these become a big problem when you start to get people in this bottom rung, or even the bottom 2 rungs. We've got this is actually an issue. I'm tempted to ignore it for now and then address it as a single component. This is critically important that we do this at some point. I think we should find out who they are, first of all, and just so we figure out what may be the issues. Now, we've got a human lasher is visiting. We'll come back to that one. We've struck magnetite. That's okay. Let's just go back to our actual dwarfs. And we can see, yeah, it is Cole, who is the most unhappy of everyone. So we can sort by this as well. So we can go, the happiest one is Dumat, who is just happily mining away. They love it. Dwarves love mining. So he is very, very content with what he's doing. There's 2 that are actually just middle of the road, and they're just they're constructing meetings. One's constructing a building, and so this is actually our militia commander and our expedition leader are both doing fairly well through there. The others are starting to have other issues. So we've got one that's a little bit disgruntled, our farmer. The other 2 are the 2 military guys, Rekust and Erdem. Now they're both. This one's attending a meeting with the expedition leader, and then the other one's trying to construct buildings at the bottom of the fortress is really what's going on through there. And then Cole, the most unhappy, is back in through here. What we might do is let's look at Cole, because we've been looking at Cole the whole time. So if I go into where Cole actually is and just go and click on Cole, we can then see there's so much different things we end up having through here. So you can see we've got a whole lot of unmet needs. So pray to Elrond, be with family, admire art, be extravagant. So if we have a look at relations, she's got a close friend in Dishmab, the farmer, but she's got kindred spirits back and through here and a friend. So she's pretty friendly with everyone, but it's not family. None of them, there's no different sort of colours there except for the close friend. Elrond is her deity, so she's going to be wanting to pray to Elrond. That's one thing we could do to make her a bit happier. If we have a look at the other thing we've got is thoughts, and so this is her most recent thoughts down to her oldest thoughts. So satisfied felling a tree. She enjoys doing that, obviously. So we can get clues as to what makes her happy. So she has felt fondness talking with a friend. Satisfied, remembered felling a tree. So this is all her old memories where she was quite happy chopping trees down. Annoyed at the lack of chairs. Okay, that's one thing. Afraid after experiencing trauma. Horrified after being attacked by the dead. Now she ends up getting to the point where she no longer is triggered by the undead, which is actually good. But she started off by being horrified. Irritated when thirsty, that was when she was in the tree. Annoyed after having a drink without using a goblet, mug, or a cup or mug. Now we're going to sort that out very, very quickly. That's going to happen very, very soon. Satisfied while yelling at somebody in charge. So she did actually probably have a yell at the expedition leader, and satisfied while crying on someone in charge. So she's trying to get herself over this, this slump in happiness, euphoric during inebriation. So it may sort of work. That's her recent thoughts. The memories are the lasting things. So content remembering being near a waterfall. So and not that we've got one here. Oh, do you know, the waterfall that she's remembering is when and so this is actually something we could do as well. We could actually try to make it so that we create a waterfall for the dwarfs, which sounds hard, but it's something we could definitely do. And I'm now thinking there's a few things we could do with this actually to make this into something that would be really quite nice, because dwarves love mist from waterfalls and they like being with waterfalls. So this is actually something, and so this is actually, if we could do that, that would relax her and the other dwarves as well. It would actually help enormously. This is more probably the next episode that we'll start to look at these sorts of things, but this is something we should be aware of. So we've got recent thoughts and memories. That's actually important to know. With her personality, we can then sort of see a little bit about her in through here. This will often tell us things that she really, really likes or dislikes. If you look at the values, likes others in her culture, she holds craftsdwarfship to be of the highest ideals and celebrates talented artisans and their masterworks. So if we can start to make masterworks, that will be good for her as well. Has a great deal of respect for the law, greatly prizes loyalty, sees friendship as one of the finer things in life, greatly respects artists, etc., etc. So she dreams of raising a family at some point. Her preferences are, and if we can get some of this easily, then we might as well grab it. So we've got cobalite, sterling silver, so six-sided prisms. This is all too difficult for us to go and get. She prefers to consume cassava beer and passion fruits. That's not something we can do. Absolutely to test worms. Now, there's going to be a lot of worms around wherever the turkeys are, so we have to be careful of that one. Her needs are, so she's somewhat focused on satisfied needs. She's not distracted when being away from people. She's level-headed after doing something exciting. So this is unfettered after drinking. So drinking is actually probably making her lack of clothing not really a major problem at this stage, but it potentially could be. She's unfocused after being unable to be extravagant. That's something we're not going to be able to really fix. Unfocused, a bit unable to admire art, unfocused being away from family, and unfocused being unable to pray. So, and this is not distracted by some of the other things. So this is all the clues that we have on how to make her happy. I think like she's still probably bruised, I would imagine, if we go to health and then description. Yeah, at the moment, her right ear is broken, not that it matters that much. Her head is dented and her upper body is dented. So the bruising has gone away, but the scarring and scratching is still there from her ordeal. So, I mean, it's no wonder that she's down in that level, but we're going to find the others as well will also have other issues. It may be that they're outside. So that's just, Rikusk, for example, is one of the other ones that's quite unhappy. It's going to be going and attending a meeting in through here. horrified after being attacked by the dead in through here again as well. Not that look, I won't spend too much time with this, but it just gives us clues as to what's going to happen with them. No clear memories, personality, needs, unfocused after a lack of decent meals. We're going to be trying to focus on those sorts of things fairly soon as well. I think in this episode I'll try to get those things done. Anyway, it's the sort of stuff, unfocused after being unable to practice a craft. So if we have a look at the skills, what's the craft? The dabbling stone cutter. So really just doing any sort of stonework. So eventually Rakust will get a chance to do this. And then so at the moment Cole is doing this one, but Rakust, we're going to get a second one at some point. So let's just continue on. Let's just unpause and let things sort of develop. Now we've got, actually we just allow everything to keep on being built. And just let things develop. So not seeing any fighting outside. Okay, the others are sort of all just going up the top. Let's have a look down at the bottom or into this area. Still trying to sort of get this thing built. Yeah, so just hauling the stone into these little areas, which will make it nice and fast to build things. Just keep on glancing up here to sort of, now one's gone back into being neutral from there. So collar's now coming back through. Now collar's actually got clothing again. Picked up a dress. I'm not sure where that dress came from, but anyway, that's hopefully will help a little bit with what's going on. We've still got too many hostiles outside to send her outside. Got another cloud of murk which is drifting around. This time from the north. This will then blow across the map. You can see it's blowing into the middle here. Maybe getting near wherever that lasher is, which would be useful to see what's actually happened. If there's just a green tree frog. These are not undead. These are sort of like vermin that we end up finding around the place. Yeah, look, I'll just keep everything out for now. I'm not sure where the human lasher is. It may have already gone off the map by this stage. Yeah, I'll just like that. It would be interesting to find the lasher. Maybe we'll just have a quick look and see if it's still on the map. Yeah, it's still there. It's really near the fog actually. So let's have a look and see if there's anything in here that would sort of make any sort of sense. No, there's nothing. There's no goo or anything like that on that particular one. Health-wise, yeah, I'm not seeing anything in there. The mist is not going near her, unfortunately, because I do want to test what happens with that murk. There's a big, thick area of it. It won't affect these at all, because they're not actually, they're not considered to be part of the living creatures. This is now, sort of dissipating all the way down to there. But it is something we have to be a bit mindful of and a bit careful of. Okay, well, yeah, with what we have in through here, so I'll just pause again and have a quick look to see what we've got built in around it. So we've got another area through here. Now what I want to do is I do want to end up with my, well, there's a few things. We should actually have, we've got the rock blocks being built, which means that the table and the chair has been built. So let's now work on managing the fortress, which will allow us to do a lot of things with a lot of automation. And so this is going to be a little bit more involved. What we're going to be doing in through here, though, is to go and set up like an office. The initial office, if we have a look at the nobles down through here, what we'll see is we've got all these different areas we can fill. We've got an expedition leader which is automatically filled. If they have a requirement for something, we then need to go and build it. So we can see that there's no requirement for anything at all with the expedition leader. And same with the militia commander. They don't actually need anything for themselves at this point in time. We have a sheriff, which we can sort of load, and you can sort of see that there's, I think it will then tell us what these different, no, she's not going to tell us what they actually do. The sheriff is essentially somebody that goes out and investigates crime. The hammer is like when if a crime, and this is sort of more late game type stuff. The hammer is like an executioner who will punish dwarves if it's been deemed that they need to be punished a certain way. So typically when you're building these sorts of things, the hammerer will not be somebody that's too strong, because you don't want to kill the dwarves. You don't want to kill whoever's being punished, but that's something that we will get late game. The manager, so in fact it's telling us through here, the manager handles work orders. Once your fortress reaches a certain population, the manager must work in an office to validate work orders. And so we should actually get a manager. We should also allocate a chief medical dwarf, but we don't need to do that until we get a hospital. So we'll need a hospital established, and that's actually fairly important again, to get that one fairly early. We've got a broker, and so what this one will do, the broker uses their appraisal skills to allow you to see the value of items in the fortress. They're also the default negotiator with visiting merchants, so this is fairly important as well. And so those manager and broker, and even the bookkeeper. Bookkeeper keeps an accurate count of items in the fortress. They work in their office to improve the precision of that count. So we can actually have like a manager who must also work in an office that's also a bookkeeper, and possibly even a broker. If I go and click on manager, for example, and we've got no one with any relevant skills, so we're going to need somebody to look after this, and it doesn't matter who we choose at this point in time. So I might as well choose someone that doesn't do a hell of a lot of work. Or we could just use Erath. In fact, before we do that one, let's just right click. Let's look at broker and see if there's any. Yeah, here we go. Erath is a novice appraiser and a novice negotiator. Let's have this being the same role for the expedition. You can have multiple roles. So Erath is going to be also our broker. So we've got the broker in through there. Again, no requirements in through here. It's only the other two, an office. But we'll make Erath also the manager. So we'll go into here, choose Erath to be that one. And now we'll see that there's actually, in everything that Erath is in, we've got a problem, because you can see we've got no study, but we need a meager study. Meager is the lowest level of study, which doesn't matter where it is, as long as there's actually some sort of, that's going to be the office. And so the needs are up in this area at the top when I hover over what we actually have to have. Don't need a dining room, don't need a tomb, don't need quarters, but we do need to have a study, an office. And if we just go down into bookkeeper as well, and go and click on Erath yet again. Again, we can see that we've got a few different things in through here again. It's just still going to be the office down through this other side. So this is now, all we need to do is build one office for Erath, and then that's been satisfied across that particular need. Now, because it's only a meager office, we don't have to build anything elaborate. In fact, what I like to do with this first one is to literally just build it where people walk by. They walk past here. Now, I'm probably going to end up with other buildings back off this way at some point. I'm going to pop the office in here, just so that, like, as people walk past, they can go hi, you know, and get that friendly interaction. So we're just going to go and construct. We're going to go to furniture. We're going to build a table there. We've got one Dolomite table that we had just built, and we're also then going to go across and go to furniture, and then a chair. And we've got one sandstone throne that we had built as well. That's going to be the office. Now, before it's even built, it's now available as an office. So let's just go to our zones, which are down the bottom through here. Zones are where you designate, like we changed the meeting zone down to here, I think it was, which is why these guys are just congregating in through this area at this point in time. But so they're attending a meeting in the meeting zone. We'll eventually create something more valuable. But if I go and click on zones, we can then see we've got a meeting zone through there. But we can create an office just of those two tiles there. So if we go into office, so an officer study is required for certain official tasks, such as approving work orders, blah, blah, blah. So we're just going to go and click there to there, accept, and that is just an office. Now, DF Hack allows me to allocate the office to a role rather than a person. So I'm just going to go to auto assign the holder of the role. I'm going to go and click this one to be the I can skip on scrolling down until we get the bookkeeper or the manager. I'll just say the manager. So this will be whoever's the manager will then actually have this office. So Erith has now been given this office by default because of DFHack. Again, DFHack just makes everything so much easier to actually manage. If we now look at the nobles again, we'll now see a tick next to what we've actually got. We have a MEGA study, even though there's nothing actually in it yet. It's still a MEGA study, and that's all we need to have for Erath to then be able to work. This is going to start to change a lot of what we get in the fortress. At the moment, we only have vague sort of records of food, drink, seeds, meat, fish, plant, etc. This is actually, again, important for survival. Stocks, if I go back in, we're going to start to now get accurate information over time as the bookkeeper starts to sort of check things out. That's one benefit of doing that one. Another thing we can do is to give work orders, which is this command down through here, open the work orders menu. And what this one does, it allows us to start to tell them to build certain things when certain conditions occur. This is by far the easiest way to run your fortress. It's so we'll talk about that one right now, because we do need to get a few different things. So for example, if I go and open this one up, there's no active work orders at the moment. There's numerous ways I can actually activate these. One thing I can do with DFHack is import them, and feel free to do that. Like, just click on import, and you've got sort of like the various bits and pieces. Now I think I may have created this library basic. I'll just go and click on it and see what we end up getting. This is way too much actually. This is all different. These are basic work orders, which is actually not too bad, but it's a good example. But I'm going to ditch all of these, so I'll just pause. And so these will be the instructions that the manager gives to all the other dwarves in the fortress of what to build, including themselves. They can still build things as well. So let's go and build one. The first one we're probably going to be wanting to get is mechanisms, so we can actually sort of build traps and things. So let's just go and start that particular work order. So if we go and build if we go and click on that one through there, we can then we've got all tasks down through here. We can actually sort it out by the actual shop. And this is a good way to get a feel for what the different shops will do. So if I go, for example, to a stoneworkers workshop and have a look at that one, I can see the different things that I can make from the stoneworkers workshop. And so I could go, for example, and think, okay, well, the important things that I need initially are blocks. We've got that, or something we are going to be wanting to build. So I might go and throw that one in, and that then opens up, make 10 rock blocks. So initially it's going to say, just as a one-off order, make me 10 lots of blocks. I'm going to change this number. So what I can do is I can go, the first one is talking about the shop that's going to be used. Any shop can be used, or we can make it a specific shop. And this can be useful again when we're trying to finesse like the construction of very, very specialized and high quality equipment. We may have like a crafts dwarfs that works at just one location that makes really, really high quality things. In this case, rock blocks, we're going to go to the number. I'm just going to make, say, 2 at a time, maybe 3 at a time. I'll just make, say, 3. So it's going to make 3 out of 3 blocks. But this is a one-off order. So that's not going to be, we want this to be automated. When we run out of blocks, I want to have more blocks. So I'm going to go across to here, which is sort of like the greater than, less than, equals, not equals. So these are the conditions for building things. So when I go back in, at the moment it's a one-time order. It then gives me suggested conditions. I can actually add my own conditions, but in this case, its suggested conditions are, if the amount of rock blocks is less than 10, let's just go and add that one in. So at the moment, if the rock blocks that we have in the fortress is less than 10, then that's satisfied to start building blocks. So that's actually okay. And we could actually have when non-economic hard rock is greater than 10. I'm not going to worry that we're never going to run out of rock. So let's just go with that one through there. If I wanted to change it, quite often the automated ones won't use less than. They'll use a different thing. I can just keep on clicking on this greater than, less than. You can see if it's exactly 10, do something. If it's not 10, do something. At least 10 back through here. So if the amount of rock blocks, see how it's not satisfied. If it's at most 10, so if the rock blocks, which is sort of like greater than or equal to, so that actually is fine. I think I'll just use the at most, but I do actually have like a whole range. Greater than 10, not satisfied, less than 10. So I'm just going to go at most 10. I'll just keep it there. So we're going to keep on, this will keep on rolling through until there's 10 at most 10 blocks. At that point, it will then be not satisfied, and they'll stop building blocks. It just automates orders. So we're going to go through and build a few of these, of the really important ones. So one is the rock blocks. Okay, so we've now just go and right click, come back in. So that's one work order. This is now essentially a rolling order that when it gets satisfied, it will then be given, and the dwarves will then start to build this. That's important. There's a lot we can put in here, so I'm just going to go through some of the basic ones to start with. Now, I like blocks because you can build things very quickly with them, much better than just normal rocks. And sometimes, particularly with these dangerous forts, you need to actually have building materials near where you need to be operating very, very quickly, particularly down in the cavern layer, as an example. Next thing we're going to be doing is we'll have a look at the carpenter's workshop. So we'll just go into here, and beds are really critically important. So we're just going to go into this one. The number I'm going to make is just one at a time. I'm only going to make one bed at a time. In this case, we need to make sure that we've got the amount of beds is less than a certain number, and we also really do need to check on the wood, because it's going to be hard for us to bring wood in from outside. So I'll have both of these. So I'm going to change the number of beds available to, so I'm going to only build them if there's, say, 2 beds. So, and not less than 2. So if the amount of beds is less than 2, and we've got more than 2 at this moment, I'll just go to at most 2. So at most 2 is what we want. So if there's only 2 in the storage, if there's 2 or more in the storage, then we won't build any more. But if it's under 2, then essentially we're going to be building. So the amount of logs is greater than 10. I'll keep that where that is, actually. So this one at most 2. Amount of beds is at most, yeah, that's fine. As we build the beds, they will then build more beds. We don't need it just yet, though. So that one's fine. So that's actually the second order that we actually have. And I'll just go and fill a few more, but it'll be the same sort of deal as we go through. I won't sort of, make you watch everything that I'm doing. I'm just going through. By the way, thrones are chairs. So rock thrones are just chairs. In this case, I've got tables. I want chairs as well. I'll just make it one chair at a time. And at this early stage, only if we've got one. Like as long as I've got at most one chair, I'm happy with that. So I'll just go at most 10. Change that to 1. Enter. So that's my. I've got the wooden bed. I've then got a rock door, rock hatch covers, rock table, rock throne, and rock blocks. That's enough initially for doing things for the very, very basics that we're doing at this point in time. The other thing we want to be doing is getting some mechanisms and getting some cages. We need to get some traps. Not so much if you're doing a normal run of Dwarf Fortress, but we need to be really, really on top of what we're doing in terms of protecting the fort. So we've got a lot of work to do. In this instance, we're just going to keep on going and adding more. So to do the to make things, for example, like the cages, it's easier to just make them out of wood. And I'm a bit concerned that we don't have there's not a hell of a lot of wood available to us, particularly if we can't get outside. But we'll still put the carpenter's workshop. In this case, we're going to, and there's so many things you can actually build through here. Bins and barrels will also be important. Actually, we're going to need to do this. And wooden bins, wooden barrels. We can make rock pots to hold liquid, but really the bin needs to be done itself, I think, so that we'll need to actually make sure that we do have wooden bins. I will go and add that one in. And I'm going to change, this is so important, I'm going to make it so that we end up with, say, 2 of these being built at a time. Not that that's a very big number. And in this case, the amount of, I'm just going to say the bins, it's still going to be essentially empty bins. So if we've got the amount of bins available, which is essentially bins in the stockpile waiting to be used, is less than, say, I'll say 3 in this instance, in fact, or at most 3. So that's satisfied. We're going to start building bins. The other thing we want to have in through here, if I just go back into the carpenter's workshop, is got the buckets. Now we do actually have a few buckets. We do need buckets, and we will use buckets. So we will have to put that in at some point. I'll do one where we come back more. There's a wooden chair. I would prefer to use rock thrones rather than wooden chairs in the fortress. There's a lot of things we can do from wooden doors versus stone doors. I'll use stone doors now that I've got stone available. All sorts of different things we can build from here. But the one thing that we really do want to be grabbing is a cage, a wooden cage. So we need to be building these, and I'm just going to be building, say, one of these at a time. So build one wooden cage, and I'll just do it like when we actually do have, I'll just go again, just adding the cages. I'll put the log qualification in through here as well. In fact, we may have to do that with the bins. I didn't do that with the bins. And so I'll make it so that when there's only one cage available, start building. So, or in fact, when we do run out, so at most one cage. And the amount of logs, I'll keep that greater than 10. So we'll keep that one going. We've just got that, so that's in our stockpiles. And I will do the same with bins as well. I'll just make sure that we end up with logs greater than 10 in there as well, just so we've got like a bit of a store. So that then satisfies the carpentry. To build a cage trap, we need mechanisms as well. So we'll just go into here. So I'll just quickly go back in. In this case, we go to the mechanics workshop. And you can see there's all sorts of different mechanisms we can actually build through here out of different metals and all sorts of things. All we really want is just rock. Just good old rock mechanisms is all we want to be building. So make rock mechanisms. I'll be needing to make a couple of these at a time, I think. So they tend to go in pairs, a lot of them. Not so much for traps, but for the for building drawbridges and things, we'll need at least 2. So I'll do that one, and I'll go just with that one. Again, we're not going to run out of hard rock. So we'll just go available is at most 2, and I'll just change the number to 2. So we will actually start to build the mechanisms now that we've got the other one through there. I can even build things that I'm not ready for yet. Like we saw there that they wanted decent food. That's going to be a problem for us because we do need to look after the food in the fortress. So I won't do that yet. I'll do it when we start to build our kitchens, which won't be that far off. I'm sort of running out of time because of all the little extra things that we've had to do. I want this ultimately to be the carpenter's workshop down in here, so I think I will actually go and build that one now. Just go back to workshop, carpenters, even though I've got the carpenters that I built as a temporary measure at the top of the fortress. Just get siltstone in through there. This is the coal, the bituminous coal. You can see the shape of the rock changes depending on what's available. This is ores that we're finding, metal ores. These are just basic, or just a basic stone in through here. These are sort of like more economic rock. We'll see that this sort of shape. So we're getting up with different shapes across the board. Anyway, let's just let things sort of develop. You can see that they've now put rock in all the way around this stone stockpile, which is good, and we're still building more and more things. And we'll have a look. Look, all of these things have now been added in as work orders, not the first ones. In fact, I'll just ditch those, and we'll just let them come through with the work order orders. So these are now all going to be work order orders coming back in. Yeah, I'll just let things sort of develop. I might just go down to the bottom of the fortress again and just to see how we're going. Did we build? No, we still haven't built this yet. Need to go down the bottom and just see how we're going in through here. That's been constructed. These have been constructed. I'm guessing a lot of these will actually not be available. So we'll end up with different orders saying that we haven't been able to do some of these things. So we've got 6 hostiles around. Now that this has been built, I can now resume construction there. Now, I'm guessing that a lot of the wood that we had selected here is outside, and that's a bit of an issue. There's only 5 hostiles at the moment. Let's have a look and see. Okay, we've got a raven head that is now rolled into the water. Again, anything in green like the tree frogs and things is just vermin. So one of them has gone into there. There's fish in through there as well. So one of the heads is there. What else have we got? Still got ravens flying around. And we've still got this one in through here as well. Okay, that's it. I think what we'll do is... Actually, where's the others? That one there is way down the bottom here. I think we open the fortress up again and deal with what we've got. So let's just go and allow things to actually occur. This is all a little distance away from where we actually are. So we need to open this one up. So we'll just go and make this one passable again. And we'll go and get our military. They've had a bit of a chance to take a bit of a breather. And we'll just go and confirm the killing of this head. Did we get it? Yeah, it looks like we did. So that's now gone. There's no special orders there. I'm not going to worry about the military unless we get attacked. Let's just watch what actually happens. Actually, what we should do... Yes, that's actually fine. That's been smashed. struck more bituminous coal, that's good. Human lasher is visiting. I should actually just double check and make sure that the miner is still doing what they're doing. I could either go and find the miner, I could sort of go and have a bit of a look to see what he's up to. He's got no job, which means that he's actually run out of orders. So we need to give him more orders. Now, we've got our basic workshop done. Let's just go back down to that layer of the fortress and start to present other areas for us to work with. So we'll just go back down into here. I could open this up even more, these areas, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to do it and then move everything down into this part of the fortress that we've got in the top area. So I think what I'll do is I'm just going to go back into my digging menu, and I'll just close off the squads, and I'm now going to change from blueprints to standard, and I'm just going to go and marquee select all of that. Yep, so that's all okay. And then when we come back down into here, might as well grab that as well. I think that'll do us, just for starters. Again, I'm just trying to think of what do I need to do first before things actually sort of do take place. Now, we have a very limited food. We really have to make sure that we start to plant things. This is actually now getting quite critical. So let's go down the bottom of the fortress and start to just get that ready. Even though there's so many other things we need to be doing, it's still dangerous because we haven't got this secure. So to build a farm, and we're going to ultimately end up with more staircases in around here. So I'm not going to be building in this little area, but we can certainly build over in here ultimately. So I might as well get things ready. So so let's just go and build our farms over this side, and we'll put our animals down in this little area over through here. So to build the farms, like a big part of the like a lot of the industries that you have will be collapsed inside their workshops. So if we go to workshops, anything we have to do where we have to build something for, this gets confusing. I should actually spend a bit of time to explain what's going on. Quite often when you need to do something, a zone means that you're not actually changing it. So if I go to a zone, we are just designating an area that we have already built or done something with. It used to be that I think you used to be able to sort of do different things in through here also to get things growing. But in this case, like gathering fruit, doing stuff like this, there's all sorts of different things we can do, like designating bedrooms, dining halls, barracks, etc., etc. Pen or pasture is important. Let's just go and do the pen or pasture down in here to start with, just so we end up with having it. So we'll go and build a little pen or pasture in through here initially, and we'll just go accept. And I'm just going to go and add in the two horses that we ended up getting. So we're just going to go and place them down in the bottom here. Ultimately, it's probably a bit dangerous to do it yet, but let's just go and do it. That's what a zone is for, to designate this is an area that we need to have done for that one. If we have to build something, in this case, we're going to be building beds for the growing of plants. We're going to there's a few things we can do. We can actually go and gather, which I probably should do here actually. We've got a few different things. We've got goblin caps, which is a young tree. We do have plump helmets back into here as well, and these we can eat. So if I go into like this will be a little bit sort of a little bit confusing, but if I go to gather fruit, essentially that will be for around trees up top. But I can actually just go across and give an order to go and set plant gathering orders. So let's just go and gather as much as we can in through here. And you can see there that there's dimple cups, which we don't really need. We've got a few other little things. That one didn't actually pick it up. That one did. This is actually quarry bushes. So these are things we can then sort of go and process. And there's more plump helmets down the bottom through there. There's pigtails, which is used for making clothes. There's more pigtails at the top there. And so little things in here will ultimately be able to sort of make use of. These little trees, we can't do much with these because these are not trees. We can't actually go and chop them down because there's no wood in them. So they're actually end up being a little bit of a problem in the sense that we can't do much with them other than make them into roads. This is the only real way of doing this. In fact, I might just do it so you can see the process. If we go into this area, go to constructions, the only way I can get rid of trees like this is to go to dirt road and then just go and click on that one through there. Oops, is that going to do it? Need soil location. If I go from next, no, sorry, this is actually not going to work because we need to actually have raw soil. not moss. We can't do it from here. So I don't have any raw soil there that I can make use of. If I built something and then took the building away, what would be left underneath that would be soil until the moss grew over the top of it again. But in this case, we don't actually have any of that. When the horses come down, they will actually be able to, they will chomp away at different things. Anyway, let's continue just growing what we want to grow in through here. I'll make some beds that we can then sort of make use of. So if we just go back across, so we're now going to start planting. We don't need very much to satisfy even a big fortress. So if we go across into workshops, these are all the different workshops that we can go and do. So some of these we just build like a stoneworker's workshop or a carpenter's workshop or a mechanic's workshop. But some of them actually open up other areas, like for example, clothing. Well, and then open up leather workers, looms, clothes, or dyers. Farming workshops will open up farm plots, which is what we want. The still, the butcher, the tanner, the fishery, the kitchen, the farmer, the quern, the vermin catcher shop, the nest boxes and the hives. There's so much involved in the farmer's workshop. So we're going to go to farm plots because we need to get these things established. In this case, I'll just make it, because I've actually got like a 4x2 area through there. I'll just start there. I could actually make another 4x2 in there as well. Actually, I'll just go back in. I didn't select to keep on building it. Workshops, farming, farm plot. I'll just make 2 to start with. That will do us. And so what will happen is the farmer will then come back down here and start to work on this. Now, actually, what we should do is have a look up the top. We've now opened all of this back up again. Yeah, so they're going off to pick up wood at different locations. Yep, grabbing all the stuff. Now, I had still designated all this for chopping down. I think I'm going to stop that. I'm just going to go through and just make sure that I don't actually have any of these trees. That one I would almost want to just chop down for the sake of not having it around. But I don't want Cole experiencing more of these sorts of issues that she has already had to experience. So let's just deselect the chopping of those particular trees down. Okay, we'll just keep on watching. So they're coming and getting wood. Here comes that lasher, is now finally going to be coming and visiting. Now, it's going to ask if it can actually operate from our location to go and search for things. I'm not going to allow that to happen. I'll be judicious about who we let in. Okay, it's now gone to early summer, and I've got it set so that every season, every sort of like large season, we end up getting let's just going to save the game. So we're now into summer. So we can see there that at different times the river or the creek freezes over and we get snow all over the ground, and then it starts to thaw in spring. Early summer is now going to be, it's going to be fairly pleasant in this location, other than the undead. And I'll just go down to the bottom layer again and just see where we are with everything. So the horses are down in here. They'll eventually eat some of this, and here we go. We now actually have the petition. So we've got the petition from Alu. Is asked if we can come in and eradicate monsters. Remember, you have to feed them, and they don't do anything other than just fight monsters. They don't even go and help you fight actual armies that come and attack you. It's only monsters that just go and explore the wilds. In one sense, it can be useful, but I think I'm just going to keep it where it is for now. So we'll just go and deny that one, which means that we're saying no, we're full. There goes. Now they're still going to go off and do different things. So they've now wandered off. If we just go and follow this one, we can just watch and see what it does. Not sure where it's going. It's actually, it's wandering off down here. It's actually exposing, and it's now wandered off away from where we've seen it. Still got 4 hostiles. We've still got the ravens. So just make sure that's all we've got. Yep, that's it. So F1 again to get back into here. Actually, I'll go back down to that bottom depths, and we'll just go back up again to where we've got our zone. Just want to see as these get built. It's now summer. That's fine. As the work orders are done, we get information about them actually coming through. Only 3 hostiles on the map now. Still the one in the water. We've now got a porcupine corpse has now wandered in as well. and another undead raven at the top. All right, that should still be okay. When they sense you, they will attack you, but they do have to get fairly close to be able to sort of see where you are. There's like a gerbilus or hamster, just a piece of vermin on the outside. Here they come, getting more wood. So they're all working, I think. They're all sort of doing what they have to do. Just left the turkeys back there for now. We'll deal with them fairly soon. Let's just see how our construction is working. He's still working away down in here. I'm just going to let him keep on doing this sort of work. In fact, what I will do is I'll just open up this now. I won't do that. I'll just hang on. I'll deselect that and just go and select all of that again, just for there we go. Oh, this other one in through here. The last of the crucial workshops that we need. So stone cutter, mechanic, carpenter, and then the last one that we actually really need to have in through here is the crafts dwarf. And they can do a lot of interesting things as well. The crafts dwarf is quite often the one that will end up having someone with strange moods, which you may need to build that door to block whoever it is in there. So we're just going to go across again to workshops. So that's the important early ones. So just crafts, build it there, and we'll then wait for that to be constructed. And then what we'll do is we'll end up giving work orders of the sorts of things that we need to actually have done through here. Now we're going to have our trade caravan arrive in early autumn. So autumn is we've got one season to start building things that we can then go and sell. So when we have a look at the Crafts Dwarf workshop, I can add a task into here to then make it work orders for this particular workshop, which I don't want to do it for the particular one. So I want to go back through my work orders and just do it this way. I'm just going to add one in. I'm going to go to the Crafts Dwarf workshop, and I'm just going to make initially things out of rock. So we'll make rock mugs. So if I go into this other side, I can then start to filter to see what's actually there. So if I go into, for example, mug, this can be, so make a rock mug is what we have. We've got all sorts of different things. I don't think they've got cups. Yeah, actually wooden cup. So you can see there wooden cups, goblets. Nope, it's not goblets. So that has to be done through metal. So we can't do that at a Crafts Dwarf. We have different things we can make out of bone. So we've got lots of different amulets and helmets or helms, things like that we can actually make out of bone if we have to. But rock is really what we want to be mainly doing things. So I'm just going to go to rock. You can see through here amulets, bracelets, crafts, which is just sort of generic things that we could then go and sell. If we go into, well, rock mugs are going to be important, and rock nest boxes are both going to be important. So we're going to go to rock mug. There's going to be one thing. I will just keep on adding more for the Crafts Dwarf. Where are you? There we are. Nest boxes. So I can make them out of wood or rock. I'm going to make these out of rock. So we need to, this is for our turkeys, so we can start to get eggs. That will be fairly important as well. I'll do the kitchens next, I think, and we'll sort of talk through what we require for those. So with the rock mugs, we're just going to build maybe 2 at a time in this case. So we'll just go and say you've got 1. I'll just make it 2. Okay, so 2 rock mugs. I'll make it 1 rock nest box at a time. For the orders in through here. So if we've got with the rock mugs, in one sense, I just want them to keep on building these, to be honest. So I think if we have, say, 100, if the amount of rock mugs are less than, say, 100, so we can just do it because we can sell these, and that can be something that can be quite lucrative to build these sorts of things. So I'm just going to change the number to 100. So if it's at most 100. Then stop at that point. I'll just do that. That way we'll always have somebody making mugs, and this will also then give them things to drink out of when they're trying to drink, which will be very, very useful. So we've got the rock mugs. I won't worry about anything else in through there, so we'll just go and leave that one. And then the nest boxes. If the rock nest boxes, I'll just go and grab that one through there, is less than is at most 1, I think. So as required, we'll build nest boxes. So we haven't built any just yet. So we'll need to then construct an area for the actual animals and for the turkeys. So that's now got our Crafts Dwarf workshop in very, very basic terms as to what's required. Let's just allow things to keep on going. Now what I might do is I might just go to the bottom here again because I am concerned. I might just make this a priority. And that one a priority as well, just so we can sort of get this one established. Oh, pause. We've got 12 hostiles. The porcupine, another owl. In this case, we've got a buzzard. This will be even harder again. So it's in the north. Another buzzard getting in closer. So we've got a lot of buzzards now, that undead buzzards that have come in. They're all over the place. We've still got that raven head, and then we're back to the porcupines and things. Okay, so they're all still on the top. I think what we might do is just watch. I think, yeah, we'll have to go and just allow the allow them to pick up the wood from here. We do need to keep it going, I think. If it becomes too much for me, what I can do is move the dwarves again to station and protect. Let's just let things go for a little bit longer. If anything sort of comes too close, I'll certainly. Now they can be flying. Oh, here they go. Now that's again. This goes Col again, and we've got the buzzard corpse coming in. Okay, it's now time to deal with this. So we need to protect her. She's going off to pick something up, but she's probably now wandered out again and now seen this thing and is now going to run away to where the porcupine is. Which is, at least she's got the axe, so she can protect herself. So we'll just go and kill this thing off with our military. This will be a bit more difficult for our military guys to do it. This is actually our militia commander. Confirm that kill order. And what I can do is I can actually just press the full stop key to sort of see things actually occur. So I'll just do that to allow, I'm just doing it frame by frame. So he just jumped away, and we'll find that there's now going to be combat. Let's just go and get rid of these. Yep, so Col was interrupted, and so she's actually still running. Erdim has become, and the others are all doing different things. The buzzard is fighting, so we now actually have. I'll wait until we start to see some interaction. Hopefully, we'll be able to kill this thing off. This will be much more dangerous than the ravens. Goes in, jumping around. There we go. We actually managed to kill it. That's actually very, very good. So that's one down. That's a mangled corpse. It may be enough because we're smashing it with the mace. So with the militia commander, and we're still completely healthy. If we have a look and see what's actually happened in that last lot of fighting. So buzzard corpse attacks, but jumps away, blocked with the shield, scratches in the head. So it's trying to and shattering the skull, tearing the fat. Yeah. So upper spine has been torn. It then still tries to strike at it, but it's blocked with the copper shield. And so it then kicks the buzzard corpse in the head, and the injured part collapses. And once you destroy their brain cavity, that's really the end of them. So that's that one done. That's that one gone. I'm going to have to leave again. Actually, I've got an appointment, so I'm going to leave it here. What I'm just going to do though is I'm going to put these guys on station here. It's too dangerous out here now not to have the military protecting what we've got. There's nothing out here that we can't cope with, as you can see, at the moment. It really depends on the sort of animals or the different creatures that do come in. Unfortunately, Col's going to run, and then we do actually have... won't run into the creek, so maybe it'll stop at that point because this is all flowing. And of course, we've got that raven's head here somewhere. There it is over here. So if she runs back down over to where she was caught in the tree, that's not going to be good. Let's just unpause for a second. Here she comes. She did turn around. Oh, what happened there? I think that there was another... Yeah, Col was fighting with... I think it was another buzzard. God, she's been in the wars. Buzzard Corpse. What's the woodwork? Yet again. On the nose. She's been bitten on the nose. The right arm. Okay, I think there it is there, the Buzzard Corpse. Okay, so we've got this one now. All right, guys, you need to go and kill that Buzzard Corpse. So we'll just let that happen. So she's now fighting. She's got the mangled head there. Health description. Her nose is broken. Her nose is bruised. God, she's had such a torrid time. Anyway, I'm still going to keep on recording this one because we've still got. Actually, maybe I'll leave it here. Again, there's just so much that's going on because of where we actually are. Hope you're enjoying it. I love playing it with this sort of level of difficulty. There's always little things you have to sort out, which is great fun. So we'll actually end this episode here, and then we'll do. We didn't get through even the basic things. We've got some basic things done, but not everything we need to do. We've still got so much we have to get done before anything can really sort of happen. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.